Hey everyone, welcome to Smash Trivia. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia to follow everything happening with me. I'll be the one with the big old green head in the profile picture. So excited to get into this. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, in this series, I'm going to review everything Hulk, all the movies, TV shows, and I also do random other geeky films. Occasionally, not so geeky ones too. And I also like to mix things up once in a while by not reviewing anything. Hope you enjoy Smash Trivia Presents The Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening if they can please do something for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. Now that we have all that important stuff out of the way, let's smash right into this episode. Hello, my Gamma friends, and today I'm going to review Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm joined by Hector from the Reshoot movie podcast. How you doing, Hector?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm pumped.
And I'll also be joined by some other people later on. I split this up into two recording nights, but first I'm talking with my friend Hector about it. I absolutely loved this film. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm like, this is gonna be fun. I feel like it's fun. It was okay. Like I'm gonna forget about it, but it weirdly stuck with me.
Mhm.
And I think that's a sign of a fun and pretty memorable film.
So, for me, like there were very few criticisms I had of the film, and like only two that I actually really care about, and those are only because of us, as you probably have figured out from your conversations with me. Morals are very important to me.
Mhm.
With films, and um because of that sign, like having a character say the R word, or I don't like hearing that
Y-
in a film. And also I thought some of the like anti woke and cancel culture jokes felt a little weird to me.
They were weird. I don't know what was going. I think I have a theory that you know how half the movie's improv, right? Like with the other previous two.
Mhm.
I think that was like an accidental because the joke is he was saying retired. It sounds like the R word.
Yeah.
And then Blade's like, "Did you just say the R word?" And he's like, "No, I'm not trying to get canceled." I think what happened was it was an actual mishearing and they just kept it in. Or maybe they're trying to be like a little
I,
edgy to prove that Marvel wasn't shackling or
I
Disney
think
wasn't
that
shackling them.
so from what I've heard, and this is just other people's guesses, they were saying that, and they think that it was a joke just based on how the Blade movies are old. So they were like, oh, let's have him say something that wouldn't be said today.
Oh, gee, that actually makes a lot of sense too.
I just still just don't enjoy hearing that word,
No, we've moved past
word,
that
and
word.
that's that annoyed me hearing it in the film. Like those are the two things I really care about. But I do have some things I could criticize about the plot. And I will mention those, but I'm not. But I don't care nearly as much as about things that affect the plot as things that I see as morally bad.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I like me explaining the joke. I wasn't trying to like explain it
Oh no, I
away.
know,
I was
I
just
know. I'm just
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, no, I was
I'm
just because I was like, why are they making these jokes? Ryan doesn't usually. I
Yeah.
don't know. It was
It's like it was weird, but I also don't also think that some of the things people took from it are like not correct. Like I think jokes about the R word and the anti woke, anti cancel culture jokes. I think those were weird, but I don't think that they made it so the film is anti woke as a whole. And I particularly mentioned that because like there was someone on Twitter who got a massive amount of likes saying that Deadpool and Wolverine is the most anti-woke movie in a long time. That it's about two heterosexual male heroes. I'm like,
Deadpool was
you
joking
did
about getting
not.
pegged in like
Yeah,
the
you
first
did
10
not watch the
minutes.
same film if you believe that.
Deadpool's like canonically pan. It's not even
Yeah,
like
he's
like
pan. Also, two of his best friends are a lesbian couple.
wait, who are I haven't caught up
Um,
with later Deadpool
yeah,
lore.
no, this is no in the movies. He's
Oh
Nagasaki,
right,
Warhead, and
yeah, yeah,
Yukiko.
yeah. That was my biggest other thing is I really like his side characters from the other two films.
Yeah.
I get why, like
Mhm,
structure and plot wise, it makes sense.
mhm. I agree. I wish that there were more of them, more of it, those characters in it, and for longer scenes. And also, I don't understand why they didn't put either Cable or Domino or even Fire Fist ist in it.
Yeah, that was can I be honest? My favorite X-Man is like Nightcrawler. I was really hoping for whoever played him in 2 to come back. Because
That would
like
have
when I
been
was a
cool.
kid watching 2, loving 2, seeing 3, I'm like, where the
I
fuck's
think
Nightcrawler?
I think that there's probably more of a chance that he'll come back in Secret Wars. I think that they saved a lot of characters, as making sure that they don't appear in this, so that they can appear in the big event.
Yeah, I'll raise you one worse. Isn't the next phase officially going to be the mutant saga?
It's not official, but I think that's what they're gonna be doing.
I'm worried we're gonna have to wait. I'll have kids probably by the
Uh,
time the fucking Nightcrawler comes.
I think so. Um, I think even like a lot of the cameos that we did see in this, I think we'll see again in Secret Wars. Or for the main part of, I do not believe that all of these cameos were actually the same variants that we saw all in those older films because they didn't feel quite like what they felt in those older films.
Mm-mm. No, I
Like,
think you're right.
like Johnny Storm, Storm, he feels nothing like he felt in those 2000s in films. I think that they particularly made him be this absolutely ridiculous version of the character, so that they can actually then have the actual variant come back along with the rest of the team
Probably.
for a more like caring cameo towards
I
them, if it
I
makes sense.
think you're right. I wouldn't be surprised. At the same time, though, as Deadpool says, it's hell on the budget with
Mm.
him being there. That also, like, I love that he had the Boston accent. Did it make sense? No, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I
Like
love that accent.
and like another character that I think while the way he acted wasn't like terribly off from the original films, I think his voice was off. Is Blade. I think they went very over the top with the Blade voice, a lot more than what, or than with how Wesley Snipes did it in those original films. And I think that was another example of being like, let's change him up a bit so that to make him both more ridiculous, so he fits more into a Deadpool film, and make it so we can have it that there's another other variant out there of him to appear in Secret Wars.
I'm wondering if he. That's a good theory. I hope you're right. My thought with Wesley Snipes, famous man who was so angry at Blade Trinity that he didn't even open his eyes for the final scene and they had to CGI it. I think he just showed up to set and was like trying to do it off memory. You might be right though.
Maybe. And so he actually has since the film came out, he's talked about he's like um even though it had been no these people thought that for many years that him and Ryan Reynolds hated each other. Or he said that apparently that actually had been in a joke between them for
Hmm.
the past 20 years, making everybody think they hate each other. But it also does sound like he hadn't talked to Ryan Reynolds in 20 years, and so when Ryan Reynolds out of the blue called him up and was like, "You want to return as Blade?" He was like, "Yeah, I'll do it if someone like Ryan Reynolds is gonna call you up after all these years. Yeah, you'll hear him out."
Yeah, no, for sure. I'd like to be in the Deadpool movie. But that was cool. My favorite cameo was the Channing Tatum Gambit.
Nice, nice. That was a
Do you know the
great
history of that
one.
movie or no?
Oh, I've heard like about the development hell with that, and they were still trying to get it done by the time that Disney bought them out, but Disney wasn't going to continue trying to get
Hmm.
scripts off the ground from Fox. Um,
God, that
I'm
was
really
such a
glad that he got to play the character. And I honestly
yeah.
really enjoyed him as the character. I wouldn't mind seeing a Gambit film with him being the star.
Me too. He does comedy great. I think he could do it.
Mhm.
Although, God, I think they need to get a new suit. That thing looked uncomfortable. I don't know about you. It gave me like the Batman, the what was it? The Keaton Batman necks.
I think that they particularly made it to look like that for this. I think he would
Hmm.
have a better suit if he was doing his own film. But to be honest, though, I don't want them to change it a lot just because I like how comic booky it looks.
No, same here, same here. I just meant more like flexibility wise.
Yeah,
I'm like that looks like a
understandable.
pain to walk
Oh
around
yeah,
in.
definitely.
But no, it was cool. Nah. I'll be
Oh,
honest, the one I'm really iffy on is X-23 Laura.
okay.
I liked her ending a lot in Logan. Logan's like my favorite of the X-Men films. So to see it like
Okay. I
I don't know.
I
I'm
think
hoping
that
they do it justice.
I think they were very respectful with her character in this film. They like she was a character they didn't make any jokes about. They were like, let's just have her or be able to um help Wolverine feel better about himself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if after Secret Wars she's the new Wolverine in the main universe.
I don't know. I think that her appearing in this was a similar situation as Channing Tatum of them wanting to give her just a little bit more since or because before Disney bought Fox, there was actually planned to be a X-23 spinoff of Logan with her starring.
Oh, I didn't even know that one.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that's what happened. And also they just were like, we want someone who has an emotional connection to Wolverine to appear in the film.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it was a good call. I was
Uh,
just kind of like, oh man, I hope they don't
uh,
like we'll always have the movie, but it's the
what do you
dangerous game with cameos.
what do you think of this new concept of anchor hero or anchor beings? I don't really like it.
I read something on Threads that kind of explained it better. It wasn't meant to be taken super literally. It was just the fact that as soon as Logan, as Hugh Jackman was done as
Mhm.
Logan, everyone stopped caring as much about the X-Men films. Like the general population, the sales went down, they were flops. I think that was the whole joke. It was just a meta
Mhm.
joke that everyone that wasn't super
But
clear, and now everyone's taking
it
it
just
too
kind of
seriously.
seems maybe that's the case, but the way that they've talked about it in interviews kind of sounds to me like it is like an actual new concept they're
Oh,
gonna
I hate
keep
it.
working with,
I
which
hate it.
yeah, it's a concept that really does not work well in my opinion,
There's a lot of plot holes.
especially with the fact that the TVA is outside of time. So from the TVA's point of view, every universe is already dying.
Yeah, I mean,
That means like,
everything's dying.
I mean, yeah, but like, I mean, like that, and but also like, I don't like this idea that yeah, that um that if this anchor being dies, the whole universe is gone from its inception, not just
From that point
past that
onward.
point.
Yeah.
So, like, why is Deadpool in present day have to deal with with the possibility of his universe getting destroyed if if Wolverine doesn't die for another 5 years?
Because we want Hugh Jackman to keep putting on the claws till he's 90. But
Like that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And like they said that if it hadn't been for like Paradox like not being willing to wait, it would be thousands of years. But how I took that was it was supposed to be thousands of years TVA time,
that's what
not
I thought.
thousands of years in the timeline. So it doesn't matter whether it's now or 1,000 years from now. The whole universe is going to be destroyed from its inception, option regardless.
You're not gonna like what I'm gonna respond to that with.
Okay.
This is why 9 times out of 10 I hate time travel
Oh,
in
I
films.
don't really like time travel a lot either. You gotta be
I've
honest.
only seen one movie to utilize it well, and I'm not going to recommend it because after I watched it, I learned it came from an abuser. But there's only one film I've seen that does it perfectly.
Let me guess, it's a Weinstein production.
No. It's a small indie film.
Oh, okay.
The dude was gonna make another big. He made another film, and he's gonna make a third one. And then it came out he was an abuser. So I kind of
Okay.
like allegedly an abuser. Thank you,
But
lawyer.
I mean, it's not. You don't really have to say allegedly if you're not even gonna mention what the name of the film is, so no one knows who you're talking about.
That's a good point. Well, we've done it. We've talked about it on my
Uh,
podcast. So read your now just got a gooder film, everyone. But everyone, if people can piece together the
yeah.
dots,
The like I feel a lot, the same way with time travel. I don't love it and for me it's mainly because I hate both changes in the timeline and timeline jumps. I'm like whenever things like that happen, I'm like, when are we gonna go back to what I was following? This doesn't
you
work. Uh, uh,
yes,
that annoys me that we're not going back to that.
yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of like if you have an option for a way back, people are just gonna want to go back.
Like the only time that I was like, only time with time travel where I'm really like, I like this is actually Avengers Endgame's time travel because, okay. I don't like the time jump at the beginning of the film, but I like the way that they did time travel because the way that they said it is they do go back to the timeline that I was following
Yeah.
instead of just having it be a new timeline.
No,
Like
I agree.
and like that's also why I hate that so many people are saying they think that and they want the MCU to just have a soft reboot after or Secret Wars where the timeline is different. I'm like, no, we
You're
have
not.
80.
I'm a fan of the reboot,
Well,
soft reboot.
so why is that?
So it I'm fine with I read comics. They're
Mhm.
right on my table, but I have my headset on. I have a bunch of comics. I've been reading the new Ultimate line, right? New Universe, new Ultimate. It's been fun. I'm gonna pick up my new issues tomorrow. But I'm used to wibbly wobbly, right? My dad is starting to lose track of. He was watching the MCU. He loved it. He was catching all of them. Now he's just kind of like, there's too much, and there's all these multiple dimensions. He does not grasp the and he's a smart man. He works as an
Mhm.
engineer. He does not grasp the multiverse storytelling,
Mhm.
right? I think a soft reboot and putting it all into just space, one space time will do will do wonders, and it'll just be a nice way to reintroduce everyone. Comics do it
The
all the time.
how I see it is two things. One, yeah, I understand comics have done that a lot, but I don't think that they did it this quick. Like they didn't have just 16 years or something after the world of Marvel started, immediately having a timeline change. They waited much longer before they started introducing timey-wimey concepts like that. And I'm like, there's so many stories we can still tell within this world. Why do we need to start anew? Um, but
You
also
can
this,
can I play devil's advocate here?
sure.
The good storylines can just be unaffected from the timeline change. I'm doing air quotes here, everyone. And I think that's how they plan to do it. Whatever still works, but now I have a
It
chance to soft reboot what didn't work.
I think and then the other thing is to keep things making sense, and whether you're having a timeline change or not, what Marvel really needs to do is make a point to tell everyone you don't have to watch everything. You like telling everyone that there are, instead of one path, you have one path of watching everything, and they all connect to each other. Tell people like there are three or four paths, and if you want to just and you can just follow one path at if you want, and everything will make sense along that path without having to watch everything, and that also helps for like making it so different kinds of fans can get what they want, and they don't have to feel like they'll have to watch what they don't want to watch. Like one path can at like these are all in the same universe, but one path could be the space part. One part art could be the street level stuff. One part could be um big Avengers stuff. Of one sign could be the more comedic side, and you don't have to watch all the other parts if you don't want to
No,
for
I'm in
what's going
agreement.
on in yours, or to make sense.
I'm in agreement. I think they're doing that. Did you ever hear what happened to the X-Men comics? Going back to a little bit to Deadpool, with the recent X-Men comics.
No, I'm going to be honest. I've never read a single X-Men comic.
You're fine. That's
I'm
you save yourself a lot of soap opera drama. I love it,
like
but it's not for everyone.
I love of watching X-Men movies, watching X-Men 97, but I've just never gotten into the comics. So I've never actually tried getting into the X-Men
Oh yeah.
comics.
No, you're
Yeah.
fine. I just wanted to explain like
Hmm.
they were doing the exact thing you were not recommending. You're recommending that they do. They're doing the opposite. My bad. They're doing the opposite. Where by the end of this era, they had like I think the total was, and I'm not trying to exaggerate. I'm trying to get the number right. It was somewhere between 8 and 12 books per month of different X-Men stuff related to this big event going on, and the
Hmm.
sales plummeted because it was too hard. I talked to my local comic book
No,
shop guy, and he was just like, I can't. And then they rebooted it this year to 3 books, and they're all independent of each other. You don't have to read them all.
and I do think that that's what Marvel has set up since Endgame, aim for the MCU, but they need to make it clear to audiences, tell them specifically, you don't need to watch everything.
Yeah.
And then I think that'll help a lot of people with their feelings of there being too much, with their feelings of, oh, there's superhero fatigue or something. I mean, like I then you can just watch what you want to watch, and then just ignore the other stuff, and also then you don't have to complain about the other stuff.
I get it. Weird question. Who's your favorite X-Man?
Um, like I haven't. That's not I haven't like thought a lot about, but I think within the X-Men movies, I would go with Beast just because I love that kind of
No, I
he
respect
looks
that.
scary, but he's really a soft teddy bear. For sign, it's more like the X-Men comics, like at least from what I've heard of, like X-Men '97. Um, I think I would go. I would go with maybe Jubilee because I just loved her personality so much in it.
Yeah, no, she's cool. I've seen a lot of X-Men '97. I lost access to Disney Plus, but
Uh,
what I saw was cool. I like it, Jubilee.
mhm.
I don't know if I did. I don't know if I mentioned it here. Mine was Nightcrawler, but I did talk
Yeah.
about that in
Uh,
outside. Yeah.
yeah. Which I don't know if it was at the point you were watching of X-Men '97, but he does appear in X-Men '97.
Yes, I saw like I already lost access by that point, but
Mhm.
God, those few clips, I'm like, oh, they got him back. They got him just right. Um,
But yeah.
yeah. Next,
You know,
next.
I remember with the Deadpool and Wolverine. So many people were so sure there was gonna be cameos from like the main X-Men characters as
I was expecting it
and it was
too, to
like
be honest.
I am like I and to be honest, I'm like yeah, it would be cool if the things like that appeared, but unless Marvel tells you that they're gonna be in there, keep your expectations down. This is
Hmm.
how I always view it because like sign like Multiverse of Madness, and so yes, there are absolutely valid criticisms for that of writing wise and story wise, but I don't think it is valid to say that the film is disappointing because there wasn't enough cameos when Marvel didn't particularly tell you these people are gonna be in it.
And I am so tired of like I know I'm a big hypocrite because there was a lot of stuff with Deadpool having cameos, but like the cameos actually served them for the most part a
Mhm.
purpose, right? They were actual
Yeah,
characters in the story. They fit the theme of finishing the story, the X-Men universe or Fox universe.
yeah.
That was fine, but I am so tired of like a lot of Marvel writing lately in the and not the comics, sorry, the movies being just a lot more of cameo focused in the last few. It feels like do you know what Ouroboros is?
The like isn't in Ouroboros where it's it's like two circles but they're going in on each other or something.
Sort of. It's this. If I'm the way I learned it, it was a maybe you might be right, but the way I heard it, it was a snake eating its own tail.
Yeah, but I think like if I remember right, I didn't wasn't that like they use sign like that for how to explain Avengers Endgame's time travel. Well, if I remember right.
You probably remember it better than I have. I've had a hell of like a year, so like a lot
I'm
of
just
Avenger stuff's gone.
well, I haven't watched it in years either. I just remember this particular scene
You're
just
probably
because
right.
I just remember this particular scene because of Tony Stark saying shit and then his daughter saying shit.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yes, yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping I'm gonna talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. I feel like this Ouroboros Seen Its Own Tail, the biggest sign of it was the fucking Doctor Doom casting.
Oh,
I
that was
I'm disappointed on many
something.
levels.
So how I feel about the Doctor Doom casting is my main criticism is I believe that the Doctor Doom absolutely needs to be Romani. It, things need characters needing a representation should not be dependent on them being races that most people know about, and also shouldn't be dependent on whether they are a hero or not. On
Yeah, no, I agree.
everyone deserves representation in my eyes, and I think but um,
Did you play the
there's
Miles Morales video game?
I have not.
So
I'm
there's
actually,
this.
I'm
Oh,
actually playing the first PS4 Spider-Man game this
right now.
year for the first time.
Okay.
I
So it's a
am.
small, it's not even a spoiler. It's nothing. It's just like, when you're doing a little scene setting in the game for Miles Morales, he has a record player and he's choosing a record to play. One of the options was a Puerto Rican band, because it's half Puerto
Hmm.
Rican, that my
Sure.
parents and my grandparents used to listen to. So I chose it and I was like, are they actually going to play it? And dude, the first time I heard them playing it, I got a little emotional. Like,
Oh
I never
yeah.
felt that representation. So just an example of like, yeah, it is important. I agree
Hmm.
with you.
Yeah. And it saddens me that there are a lot of people who they only see the need for representation if a character is of a race that is talked about. So everybody will say if a character is black or a character is Asian or a character is Mexican, and that representation needs to be there. But when it's a character who's something like Romani, or say a character who is Jewish, there will be people who are like, "Oh no, no, a white person just can play them."
Yeah, no, that bothered
Why
me
is
with.
that? Why is it? Why are you? Why do you only care about representation when it is the races that are popular to talk about?
That's what was my issue with Avengers 2 casting onwards when they had
Hmm.
Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver be.
Yeah, like
I mean, the actors are great, don't get me
I was
wrong.
arguing with someone on Twitter about
Big
that
mistake.
that
Target on Twitter.
so they so um they were trying to argue that if that while it's not good to have these castings things that aren't right, but it's no longer bad if the actor does a good job playing the role, or does a good performance. No, Marvel still did something morally wrong by casting Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. That the fact that Elizabeth Olsen has done a good performance does not change that fact.
No, I kind of see. I see your point. I'm like kind of agreeing. I'm letting it kind of sit for a little bit. But I think generally you're right. The other reason I was hoping for Romani, but I knew that was not gonna actor, but I knew that was gonna be a thing. The other issue is I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I am so sick of Robert Downey Jr. Like he was great in Oppenheimer.
So,
I was
mhm.
I would have been fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted someone who could. I don't think he can do the gravitas of like comic book Doom. Right.
Mhm.
He's a very complex
So
character. Robert Downey Jr., from what I've seen, mainly plays a smarter than average person. And different variations of that, but he
yeah.
plays genius more than megalomaniacal. I said that word wrong. Fuck me. But
Yeah, so with the particularly Robert Downey Jr. aspect of it, I am of two sides. I shoot this. One, I don't like that this shows that Marvel is listening to the people who are like, we need to just go back to act to the way of the Infinity Saga, which was a time when there was not nearly as much representation in the MCU. It was mainly white dudes on screen. And like because there were so many loud people over the past few years who have been like they need to go back to how things were during the Infinity Saga, both people saying that in terms of representation and also from the fact that they don't like that um Marvel has since Endgame tried to give characters or is like um put characters out that are for different parts of the fandom.
Mhm.
Like obviously characters like Miss Marvel or She-Hulk they're not the same part of the fandom as the people who loved the Infinity Saga because they are more comedic characters and people and these people are like, oh, we need to go back to the action heavy way instead of just having like equal amounts of like some shows are comedy, some shows are action, some shows are thriller, and
I miss
I
Shang
don't
Chi.
like yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that they listened to that part of the fan base. But then there's also a part of me that's like, I kind of like the idea of a character who has died coming back. It's not going to
I
end up actually being that, but I like the idea of that just because I is that is signing out of the comics that that characters come back all the time
oh
even though they've died.
I'm gonna be a bit I wish I could agree. I like
I,
it when
I I know
characters
that I'm not
stay
I'm
dead.
very much
I'm
I'm
not.
very much in the
Yeah.
minority about that. I
No,
know.
I know. I'm not like judging. I completely get it. It's fun that sometimes you want a character back. They're fun. They meant a lot to you. I'm not like judging that. Just personally from a storytelling perspective, I've noticed in the last few years, not just with Marvel, characters are just not staying dead in like anything.
And so thing that I think about with like characters dying is I've come to feel that characters dying is a way to manipulate the audience. And I'm like, that feels weird to me when you put it
What
in
do you mean
that
manipulate? Can
perspective.
you expand to me on that?
It's just like they want manipulating the audience to get an emotional reaction. And I'm like I kind of rather this rather movies just be this escape from the harsh world where we deal with death every day. So I think it's so I
Okay, I
that's
see.
part of why I like the idea of characters always coming back both there's the comic thing and then also just that escapism a factor.
No, I get what you're talking about. I can see that. I see it in a different lens of like if a character doesn't die or disappear, and not saying they have to, it doesn't have to be die. You can
Hmm.
replace it with like a heavy consequence, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I just feel like if the story doesn't really have consequences for our heroes, what's
Mhm.
the point of being invested? Because we
Yeah.
know they'll always be all right. I mean, it's fine. Like some, I'm not saying like I'm not saying like the freaking Shaun of the Dead movies have to be like,
Hmm.
so, like Citizen Kane of writing. Like, it doesn't be like comedies. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm just being in general. When you want to do a more serious,
Hmm.
if you want to have a good story beat, you want to
Hmm.
keep it.
I don't know. It's just like I just I know that I'm very much in the minority about that. That's just but that is just how I feel about films. I'm like,
No, keep find your fight,
I
dude.
like
I
the
respect it.
you know, I remember. Have you ever seen the TV show Lucifer?
I didn't. I didn't have access to it when it was popular, and then when it got
Mhm.
popular, a a coworker kind of like kept telling me to watch it so much that I kind of got turned
Well,
off.
there's just this moment. There's a moment in it where someone that the character Lucifer cares about died, and like he was and he actually like really made this point about how like this is such a cruel prank that that is being forced upon us, having to deal with people dying um and that's such a and now it was such a powerful speech Adrian. Yeah, I understand that would have only worked if the character actually stayed dead, but I think that it was a great way to explain why I mean of like them being emotionally manipulating us with characters' deaths of like it is this cruel prank to make us sad.
Is it
And I think that there are ways that you can give an emotion into the audience without killing characters.
I agree with you, and I agree with you sometimes. Like case by case, I'll agree with you because there's some stories I've read where I'm like, you didn't have to kill them.
Mhm.
Like you could have done something else with them. This is the least interesting route.
Like,
Is that what you're talking
oh,
about?
yeah, I think, yeah, so, kind of like that, that like both like let's instead of killing off characters, let's do something else interesting of like for why they're not going to appear, or just keep letting them appear is how I feel. You know,
Do
one thing
you
I was very so I'm not into the Fast and Furious franchise anymore. I used to be super into it,
we can't be family
but
anymore.
I kind of stopped just because of like I started feeling like there's a lot of both. It got a little too ridiculous for me, and also the also which is weird because I love ridiculous stuff, but there's that, and also I started feeling seeing like a lot of how it kind of seems like a very toxic set, and I'm like I don't know if this is something I want to support. But before that, when they had the character of a character that Paul Walker played, I thought the way that they ended his character was the best way you can possibly deal with an actor dying. Of they just had him retire and gave it some emotional moments for him at the end. I think if a character, if an actor dies, I particularly, it's weird to me killing off the character.
I'm
Or
50,
for a
50
lot, well, there are
I'm 50-50 on
situations
it.
I think there are situations where I think it's done on really well of a character or being killed off, but then there are other times where it's like this feels like a reference to their real life death, and it's weird.
It
Like
feels
the
heavy. Are you
like
talking about Black Panther 2?
no, I'm more thinking of um Star Wars Episode 9
Oh, Carrie's
with
death.
yeah, Carrie.
Yeah. That was
Like
the least word. What I
I
came into
think
that movie saying however they handle her death, I
I
don't care.
think
Like
that
that's
with
unexpected.
when I say that there are occasions where I think that the way that they handled it with having a character die because the actor died actually worked was Wakanda Forever of the Black Panther 2. I thought that worked really well.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen Black Panther 2. I lost
Understand.
access like a while ago and I never actually has to watch it. Um but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna play the devil in here though and be like, it's also better than just killing him off, giving him a fate worse than death. That can be fun. That can be a fun way. Although I'm not like I'm not saying like Game of Thrones level of
One
like torture, but just like, you know,
one ending where I was like so really happy about how they did it. Have you watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
oh yeah. No, that one they earned that happy ending.
Yeah, that was one where I'm like, this is the perfect way to end it off
Mm-hmm.
because they deserve a happy ending after the fact that both the two previous Guardians films ended with a character dying
Mm-hmm.
because the first one had Groot and then the second one had Yondu. So I thought that was absolutely perfect, and also just letting in I like instead of having that the ending was this mindless CGI battle, it was more about saving people.
Mm-hmm. No, it
And
was
I
sweet.
and I think we need more superhero films where it's mainly about the ending is mainly about saving people instead of just fight, fight, fight. I which is
I
why
will
why I like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I like the Marvels, and I like Deadpool and Wolverine for the Aang's ending for that reason.
you say that when Deadpool and Wolverine did an old boy style fight scene with a whole bunch
Well,
of Deadpools.
but the actual but the actual like big thing at the end
The
was them
climax, the emotional
trying to
climax,
yeah the
yes.
climax act was not this fight, it was them trying to save everything,
No,
being
I
willing
agree with you. It
to
was very
sacrifice
sweet.
themselves.
It was very sweet. I think no, I agree with you. It was a nice way to end it. Um, can I talk for a second about the old boy fight scene? I was not expecting an old boy style fight scene in this film. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean or no? Or do you mean to explain?
Yeah, I think I need you to explain. I'm guessing I know what you mean in the film of the Deadpool corpse, but I'm because that was the actual like main fight scene near the end, but
And yes.
I don't know the reference of Old Boy.
So old boy, it's on Netflix as of this current day, if of July of 2024.
Mhm.
Um, in that movie, I watched it with a friend last year in theaters. They re-released it, but there's this fight scene, and you've seen this. It's a big hallway or big expansive area, and the camera just follows the main character in one shot as they fight through a whole bunch of their way through a whole bunch of people coming at them, and you see it kind of like from the side. It's a very dark film before anyone just starts going at it. Just heads up. It's a great Korean film, very dark. Don't watch the American version. Do not watch the American version. But the
Right.
Korean version, amazing, very dark. But it's one
The
of the best fight scenes of all time. And like Daredevil, all the Netflix Marvel shows had a fight hallway fightway scene similar to that just because it was such a popular movie.
Oh, the only thing that I know of about Old Boy, and it is about the American version, is people making jokes about Scarlet Witch and Thanos having sex together
Yeah.
because both of
Um
those actors are in it.
do you like dark films? Uh
Uh, it depends on the film.
it is one of the
Like
darkest
I'm like
films I've seen.
Um, like sometimes I can enjoy them, but then sometimes I'm like, this is just a lot for
It's a
me.
lot. It's a lot.
Yeah,
So
and
maybe
that's
don't watch it then. I was gonna be like maybe, but don't. If it's a lot, I wouldn't
mm,
recommend it. But yeah, but point being, it's such a monumental fight scene. You can see you've seen a lot of this. It's like the Akira slide. People keep referencing that. I was on the subreddit for the Blank Check podcast this morning, and they were just like, yeah, they're gonna keep using like the old boy hallway fight scene is gonna keep being ripped on till the end of time now. It's
mhm.
such a monumental piece of film history.
And, like knowing that now it's funny to think that I think that most Marvel fans don't think of it as that. They just think of it as it's the Daredevil
Hmm.
hallway scene. I'm like,
Fight scene. Yep. It's pretty funny. A lot of
I
it's
so I remember right before we did the Howard the Duck review on your podcast. I remember as soon as I got on the Zoom call, you guys particularly told me about how you liked She-Hulk, Hulk, and so I'm and this is all reminding me of a scene of the scene there that I really enjoyed. I know it pissed off a lot of Daredevil fans, but where She-Hulk just interrupts him having a hallway scene, and she's just like
yes.
She-Hulk smash,
Yeah. No, that was it was funny. I
which
was
I
not
think
mad at
which
all.
is which and especially if it is this really long running trope from it dating back to this Korean film. I think that's actually kind of cool that they were like, let's instead of just have another of that, let's make fun of it by having her interrupt.
I think by this point they were making fun of the fact that each season of Daredevil has a hallway fight scene because the first one was so successful. So the fact that she interrupted it was kind of like, nope, this isn't your show, which was I think was
Oh
funny.
yeah. So actually going back to Deadpool and
And
Wolverine
yeah,
because
any character you didn't like as much?
um I don't think
Because I
it's
feel bad saying this, but Elektra was just kind of there. She had that one good Ben Affleck
yeah
joke,
like
and then
I so I actually watched the Daredevil and Elektra films for the first time this year, and I actually ended up liking them.
oh really?
She doesn't have as much personality in the this as she has in those, to be honest. So I can definitely see like not enjoying her in this. Like I was like, about her in this.
Yeah, same.
And I particularly was like, I particularly was saddened by the fact that she doesn't wear the red suit, the suit in this. She wears the darker one that was in the Daredevil film.
Oh, yeah. Maybe
Because
I think it's because
I
of
really like the red suit that she wore in Elektra.
I think that's the reason though, is that more people saw Daredevil than Elektra, so they had to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Also, maybe she didn't like the suit in Elektra. Maybe it was like uncomfortable, you know? Who knows?
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
suits are more comfy than others.
understandable.
But yeah, it was
Oh, I think, I think that the character I was most disappointed by, um, I think a lot of the of Cassandra Nova's was goons I was disappointed by just because they didn't give any of them even lines of dialogue. I'm
yeah,
like, you brought these actors back basically just for them to stand there.
yeah.
Like I think that could be cool to get like at least a line or two from um Azrael, which is I'm pretty sure supposed to be a Nightcrawler's father or something,
That was
if I
retconned
remember
like
right,
very recently in the comics. Fun fact.
and and Juggernaut
Juggernaut was a
and
little
and
disappointing. Oh,
the
they
and
couldn't they couldn't do
the
Juggernaut as much though. Think about it. He was in Deadpool
yeah,
2.
okay, so. They had him look like the one from the 2000s films, but they didn't bring back the actual actor who played him in those, which I think is definitely a mistake. And I think
Do we
also it's a
know if
miss.
anything happened to the
So,
actor?
well, he's still alive. He actually said that he refused to come back just because it was hard to get into the
That's
suit.
fair. I
But
respect that. That's fair.
I think especially if you're gonna have him look at least like the 2000s film, you need to have him say the absolutely ridiculous line from X-Men: The Last Stand of "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
Yeah, I was
Like
expecting
I
the
would have
line.
loved that. That I honestly wish that they had something like that in Deadpool 2 with the version in that. I think that's prime
Wait,
real
didn't they say
estate
the
for
line?
Deadpool. No, not in Deadpool 2. No.
Ah, shit.
Like,
Damn. Okay.
I think that's prime real estate to make fun of in a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that is this point. Um, I think that my favorite cameo is either Chris Evans being Human Torch, even though think he felt weird. Blade. And just because I'm a Hulk fan, I'm happy that I got that tease for a Hulk and Wolverine fight.
They even got the album
I
the
think
cover art too, because when he does
I
the
kind of want to
reflection,
go. Yeah, I kind of like. I think it would have been. I This might have been made it so the pacing of the film would have felt a little off, but I think it would. I think it would have been awesome if they just actually showed us that fight and then had Deadpool is just sitting in the background like eating popcorn while it happens and be like, I'm so happy to finally see this, him saying something like that.
you know, make it funnier. You don't show any of the
Mm.
fight. You just show Deadpool's reaction to the whole thing. It's like, wait,
Like
why are you
I
guys
thought
focusing on me? And then it turns back and it's already over. That'd
like
be terrible.
I kind of
I'm just trolling.
like I so before or this came out, because I very much was thinking that Deadpool was going to actually join the MCU in this. He didn't, but
Thank God.
I was expecting that. What I thought would have been a amazing way to end the film is to have that they have that Deadpool temp pads them into them to Hulk's beachfront on property that he had from She-Hulk, Hulk, and like Hulk sees them on the beach and goes to fight Logan just um and Logan just turns to Deadpool being like, what is this? What's going on? Why did you teleport to this guy I chasing at me to fight me? And Deadpool would just be like, oh well, I wanted to see this fight, so I took us here particularly.
That'd be interesting.
I think that would have been a funny way that it ended and have that thing for fans. And like I still do want at some point in the future a actual film about Hulk versus Wolverine. Because I think that's gonna be actually such a fun fight to see in live action.
I'm hoping Universal's just fine with letting them have the rights for movies for solo Hulk films.
I think it's like they just don't want to share the profits of a Hulk film, and that's why they won't allow Marvel to do it. But the thing also is there have been rumors that Marvel might have gotten the rights back to
That'd be
be able to do
cool.
them.
That'd be cool. I want Planet Hulk. I would kill for
Uh,
Planet Hulk.
I don't see us getting a Planet Hulk movie just because they already went
Ragnarok,
through
yeah.
a version of that story in Ragnarok. But there have been for the past like 3 years rumors about a World War Hulk film. So I'm
never
really
liked that
hoping
arc. I'm happy for you if that happens. I never liked that arc.
well, I don't think it's not gonna be anything like the comic. There's no way it's anything like the comic since that's supposed to be right after he comes back to Earth from Planet Hulk.
Yeah. Can I be
But,
honest?
yeah.
I think that's my biggest issue lately with the MCU is now I'm getting more into comics. I'm reading some of them now, and I'm just like, man, I wish we could have gotten some of that depth that the comics had.
So, what I since there's been all these rumors about a World War Hulk film coming out, which, to be honest, I think with the amount of rumors that have come out, it has to be something that they're working on. Since I feel like there's been more rumors about this than there was about Toby and Andrew coming back in Spider-Man No Way Home.
I thought that was confirmed. I saw the leaks like months before it.
Oh yeah,
like pictures and everything.
They were in the film, but there were in the year before it coming out, there were so many leaks about them appearing. And it's never been confirmed earned a World War Hulk film, but with the amount of leaks that have said that it's going to happen, I think it's gotta happen. And also the fact that they made a joke about there being an upcoming Hulk film in She-Hulk, which I feel like it would be a weird to put that in there if there wasn't actually some kind of plan in
Payoff.
place.
Yeah, no.
How I want it to happen if this actually is happening, which I think it is to have that it has to do with Bruce wanting to deal with his trauma from his father and going to therapy because of it, and he wants to deal with it so that he can be a better father to Scar. My thought is that that him going to therapy will end up being too much for him, and
brings back the Rage Hulk.
Yeah,
I can see that.
and he's angrier than ever. Both he can't. So both Bruce can't handle it, but also the Rage Hulk is angry just because he very angry that for all these years Bruce has kind of locked him away.
Yeah,
he's taken Hulk's body, and attached his brain to it. So it's basically as if Hulk's life was stolen from him by Banner. And I think that would make for a cool way to have World War Hulk happen. Of like he is angry at everything because of what Banner did.
Yeah, no, that'd be
And
interesting.
then
I wasn't laughing at you. I'm going to school for being a therapist, and I was like, what kind of therapies could there be that would not work on a Hulk? And I started listing like a few. So my bad.
and this is also a cool way to be able to bring back Ty Sheridan, or not Ty Sheridan, Ty Burrell, as Doc Samson, and because he played that character
Wait, he was?
no, he played that character in the Incredible Hulk, though they didn't call him by his last name. They just called him by his first name and said that I'm pretty sure that he was like he was trying to get a psychology degree or something. So and like that character is a therapist in the comics, so I think it
Yeah.
would be cool to bring him back. And also, like, I've seen fan art of Ty Burrell with the comic look for Doc Samson, and it's really cool looking.
No, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
And also, it would just be cool to see a Ty Burrell back in the MCU, who now, after he's gotten more famous from being the star of Modern Family.
Wait, who's in? Wait, which one's Tabarell? I've had a face in my head, but I can't.
Um, Ty Burrell
Oh, wait, him?
is Phil Dunphy.
He's
And
Phil?
yeah, he was in the Incredible Hulk film.
That's funny.
As and So I think it'd be that would be he's always really be really cool to bring back act for something like this.
It'd be cool.
Uh,
I'm interested to see if
and then
he'd come
and
back.
I think that then you can have that the way that they deal with Hawk in it is have that all of the other Hawks that are now existing in the MCU, She-Hulk, Scar, and Red Hulk, they can like fight him. I this very
I
rageful Hulk, and
I
then
feel like
but
Red
then
Hulk would try to murder him though.
yeah, you might have to cut out Red Hulk, to be honest, because yeah, he's very much on side of Hulk bad. But
Yeah.
like to have the red like the Hulk family fight him and fight him, but then also be like also in the end try to calm him down, and then we get and we after that we get a new iteration of it being just instead of it being um instead of it being something where either or it's just Hulk or it's just Banner, or Banner's controlling things anyway. It is instead it is they like actually communicate with each other and decide we're gonna do this a bit differently. Instead of you coming out when we need instead of Hulk coming out when we need him, it's just like either every other week or every other day is one or the other gets the wheel.
No, I get that. Did you see the deleted scene from Infinity War?
Um, the one of him coming out of the Hulk coming out of the
Yes, where they were discussing,
Iron
they were
Man suit.
arguing, and then he's like, "I don't hate you." He was like, "Oh, what?" And then they just worked together finally.
Mhm.
I wish we'd gotten that instead of the Hulkbuster the entire
Oh
time.
yeah, definitely, and it was like especially since that was like how you get release toys of that happening if it doesn't actually happen in film.
I think it was a last minute
Yeah.
rewrite, and
Um. Yeah,
they
I
happen
think
to the
that would be
movies more
is
often than you think.
like having we can then with that idea that I have for World War Hulk film, we can both have like a big battle between in multiple Hulks, but we can also get this emotional thing of like them calming him down. And I think the way to calm him down is like showing him that he's nothing like his father.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I would want to see from that. I think I um what else I want to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. I think I really I thought the post credit scene was really funny.
That was a good payoff to a joke I didn't realize they set up. That was really good.
Yeah, that was great. Great.
Did you ever play Marvel vs. Capcom 2?
No, I didn't.
They had, I supposedly, some of the Wolverine fight moves. I think specifically when he fights Deadpool outside, not during the car scene, which was really funny. I think that someone told me that was one of the Deadpool that was one of the moves Wolverine would use.
No. With the jabs. I think what you might have been mentioning about the Marvel vs. Capcom is like you is while they were fighting, and like Wolverine literally goes into a pose that looks like sign either like out of the game or like out of the comics, and like it's real like particularly when they're jumping from the bus us at the near the end of the fight when they do the freeze frame. Was that maybe what you were thinking of?
I think so. I think it was the part when Deadpool and Wolverine are fighting outside in the void with the 20th Century Fox
Oh,
logo.
I
I think
thought you were mentioning. Sorry, I'm going to
I
the.
think no, it's fine. I think the all on all fours, if I remember correctly, I've
Oh
only played the
yes,
game a handful of times. I think that's the
that
dash
was
move
cool.
that Wolverine,
Yeah.
the dash animation Wolverine
Which
gets.
I love the fact that they had the 20th Century Fox logo with the void. That's such a funny
It
thing
was
for them
really
to do.
funny. I
Um,
saw the leak for that bit, and I'm just like, that's really
what
funny.
what did you think of the of both of Wolverine's suit and his mask?
The mask took a little weird to get used to because
Mhm.
like the eye thing
Yeah.
was a little weird. But like looking back on it, I found someone leaked it on Instagram on a reel, and I
Mhm.
watched it, and I'm just like, okay, no, it grew on me. It grew
Yeah.
on me. It
Yeah.
it was everything I wanted. Like I've been white. I never liked in the original X-Men, and I get why they did it, but I thought it was
Mhm.
stupid that they didn't embrace the comic bookness of that and just keep them in their cool costumes.
Oh, that reminds me. I last week like from when we're recording this, I released a review of Generation X, which is a made for TV X-Men movie from the 90s. And it's not good,
Yeah.
but I think it's something that's interesting that you might find interesting to check out because like they do go into a feeling so much more comic booky than what the movies had. And it
I'll
was
check that
really
out. I'll
interesting.
check that out. I like it when superheroes.
It is goofy as hell, and mainly because of how because it's not good.
I need you to
So
answer me
yeah,
this. Are there soap opera like is there like a weird
well,
soap opera love triangle?
um I don't think that there's a love triangle. There are multiple characters who have with love interests. It's the one thing that you do gotta understand before going into it. Um, if you have trouble enjoying something, if there are a lot of very dated 90s sexism in it, if you have trouble enjoying something, if that's in there, you might have trouble watching it, but because there is a lot of that, and I was able to laugh at how bad all of that was, but
Look.
yeah.
They had it right in the 90s. I'm joking. But I'm joking. But no, they I make jokes. I've made
Yeah.
jokes like that before with people who know I wouldn't
Oh,
actually mean it.
have Are you a fan of the actual like 90s animated show?
Yeah, I used to watch that I used to watch that
So,
pretty frequently, yeah.
so one thing I think that you might particularly enjoy with Generation X is that the same actor who played Banshee in the animated show plays Banshee in live action in
Oh, that's
this
cool.
movie. Yeah,
I love synergy like that.
yeah. And like they deal with a concept in it that even Marvel today hasn't been willing to do, even though people have asked for them and made in multiple films. So particularly with people asking for it in the Doctor Strange films. Um,
Don't tell me. I
they
want to see
dealt
this for
with
myself.
okay.
No,
You can
I want to see this for myself. I'm very curious if it's what
yeah.
I don't know what I'm thinking, but I have a feeling like I know what it is. I can't put into words. But if it's what
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
feeling it is.
yeah. But yeah, there's like it's such an interesting time capsule absolute watch, but like and it's very weird, but I had a lot of fun watching it. And there's definitely like as well some very weird sexualization of teenage characters in it. Which is not surprising because it's from the
It's a
90s.
Weinstein production. No.
Like there's literally a joke in it where I can't remember her name. And Emma Frost, who's a teacher in this,
Yeah, that makes sense. She's
jokes to one of the students. Imagine that you are playing with yourself in the bathroom, which I feel like is such a weird thing for a teacher to tell their student.
yeah, especially in high school. Yeah.
Yeah. But um, I think the last thing talk about to you about Deadpool and Wolverine is what did you think of the Deadpool corpse? I had a lot of fun seeing them, but there were some things that I wanted and that I didn't get with them.
I didn't think we'd get Matthew McConaughey as uh Cowboy Pool.
Definitely,
That came out of nowhere.
I particularly for me, the thing that I was hoping to see that either we didn't is I think after all of the years that the voice actor Nolan North has voiced Deadpool in video games, I think he deserved or to get an appearance as one of those Deadpool variants, but he's not in
Oh
it.
Jesus, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that would have been cool.
He's done the voice of Deadpool in so many
Yeah, a
video games
lot.
and animated things like just to name a few. Like I know he's the voice in the animated Hulk versus Wolverine movie.
Hmm.
He's the voice in the Deadpool video game. He's the voice in I'm pretty sure like the Marvel versus Capcom games. He's the voice
I think the
in
newest
Midnight
one.
He's the voice in the Midnight Suns game, and
That makes sense.
it's just I'm like after how many times he's voiced him, I think he deserves to get an appearance in live action. Action like I feel like a lot of people who have voiced animated Marvel characters just because they've done it so many times. I think they deserve to get a cameo in live action. Like I really want in Secret Wars. I want a Fred Tatascavor or however it's pronounced his last name. Hulk because that actor has been voicing the Hulk almost every year in some kind of animation since 2005.
A Steve Bloom Wolverine would be cool too.
Oh yeah, like I think that would be it. I think it'll be I think these voice actors deserve to be able to get a live action appearance and after how much care and how much
I
effort they put into these
I
characters.
wonder if some of them didn't want to do it though. Like Kevin
Oh,
Conroy was only live action Batman once, and
well,
that's only
yeah,
because the only role he wanted to do. Huh?
I'm pretty sure that was actually just that was the only time they ever offered it to him. That offered him to get to play it in live action, and he jumped at the idea of getting to do it.
Yeah. No,
I am
yeah. No, I agree. Or
like
hmm.
another actor for DC Z though that I would love to see it is a live action for the version of their character. Sadly, this will never happen because he has said that with Kevin Conroy's passing that he's retiring the character. Is Mark Hamill as the
Yeah.
Joker? I would
No,
love to see him pop up in live action as the Joker.
I agree, but I think I'm gonna respect the man's decision. Like
Oh
Kevin
yeah,
Conroy was
oh
his
yeah,
like a good friend.
I absolutely
But no,
respect
I
his
agree with you.
decision.
It's a sad. It's sad.
Hmm. Yeah, that's yeah,
I want
but
Daniel Barnes. Did you ever watch the '90s Spider-Man? That was around the same time in
I
world as the '90s animated
I did
X-Men.
not I mean, honestly, I didn't really watch any of the 90s shows. I started my watching animation during the 2000s because I was born in 2001. But yeah, I
You should
didn't
have
ever
joined me
see
in
any of
1999,
those.
dude. It's on you.
But yeah, I do want to go back and watch a lot of those 90s cartoons though, because a lot of them look like they're really good. I
Rose
tried
Color. Someone who's
watching.
as someone who is old enough to remember a lot of the '90s cartoons, you only remember the good ones. There was a lot of crap.
I tried watching though. Like I know that the X-Men the animated series from the 90s was really popular. I tried watching it before watching X-Men 97. I couldn't get past the
It's
second
not your
episode.
fault. I don't blame you. It's a very much a product of its time. You either like it or you. It's
Yeah,
impressive what they
I
could
was like,
do, but yeah, there's some stuff that was like,
I was just like, this is boring. To be honest, honest, I was having
I
trouble
get it.
getting into it. But which is weird because like everybody says that the X-Men 97 feels the same, and I loved X-Men 97.
I think what they mean is it has the same spirit, but
Hmm.
it definitely has better writing. It has better writing.
Yeah.
The amount of them like tackling systematic racism and homophobia in
Oh.
like I've seen only seen clips, but what I've seen, I'm like, wow, this is not this is like the good '90s shit.
Yeah, like I
Better.
love that in X-Men 97, literally the first episode, they're like, we're gonna make a comment on January 6th.
Yeah. Let's not
And
forget,
it
and
works.
also,
And
and
I'm gonna be honest, it works so much better than what the boys did with it with January 6th.
I'll agree. I'll agree
I'm
with you on
so
that. No, I've watched The Boys.
the
Yeah.
boys is sign where I have a love-hate relationship with it. And
I
I'm like,
prefer Invincible. It's not
yeah,
as
I
pessimistic, but it still feels
definitely
similar.
love I like Invincible a lot more. I'm like the boys, I have this love-hate relationship with it,
Don't
and
blame you.
particularly with the most recent season, I'm just like, this is interesting their choices, and I think it was a little bit too on the nose this
I
season.
think this has just been the year for slow TV seasons because The Bear was also slow. And I didn't mind. I liked it on The Bear because it's I
Yeah.
get what they're
Oh
doing
yeah.
and I'm but like I think it's just been the year.
The only thing I didn't like about the new season of The Bear is that the thing that they made the cliffhanger of the season before it, they didn't even deal with this season, which was Claire.
No, that's on purpose though, because
I
it's
understand that. I understand that. I just like that felt weird to me because I was like, because after season two, I felt like that was the only reason they were continuing it was to get him in a good place, relationship wise.
I
So it
didn't
was
think that at
weird.
all. Yeah,
So it was weird to me that they didn't. But I ended up
he's
loving the season, even
he's
of season three. Outside of that,
Carmi's too unhealthy to be in a relationship, and he's not willing to look into himself and heal. Like
I
his
think
sister
that
Sugar's done all the work to heal,
I think
but I
for
think he's the only one who hasn't.
I think for season four though, I'm I'm I feel like that has to be like the final season or isn't or it we I feel like it needs to be winding down soon
Yeah.
um but I think where in the end he needs to get to be is understanding that not everything needs to be perfect.
Hmm.
You don't need to things don't need to be a toxic work environment, and I think he's starting to realize that after his conversation with his old mentor in the season 3 finale.
Yes, I hope he does because the whole show focuses on like he's lived in this toxic environment at home and at work his entire life. He jumped from
Hmm.
one frying pan into another. that was an accidental
and he
joke. But
hasn't dealt
he
with his trauma in
no,
a good
no,
way at
no, he's
all.
not. I mean, like there were people all in his table talking about all these very good, like all these nice experiences, and he ignored it because he was anxiously focusing. And I'm not like criticizing him. I'm not gonna lie, and I've done similar, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
only focusing on the negative.
Yeah,
And I think you're right. This is the beginning of him changing.
yeah, and I just hope though that they don't push it out to take too long, him changing, because like that's one thing with the bear that I do feel like sometimes they're like stretching things out a bit just to create more drama.
I see your point. I've worked with enough people who are pretty, and I've also been in the pits. I think I like that it's gradual because it's not always
Mm.
one. I don't like in movies when it's just like I realized I was
Oh yeah,
wrong. I'm cured now. Like, now I got
oh
work to
yeah,
do, dude.
yeah. And I don't want it to be too quick either. Either I just don't
Like,
want hanging plot threads
no, no,
just
I agree.
taking too long is what how I'm
No,
feeling about
I
it.
understand your point, but like for example, like Wolverine, he got over his trauma real quick in this film. If it was like a TV show, I would have wanted to stretch that
Hmm.
out just a little bit.
Yeah,
Also, I feel
understandable.
like if we were gonna get the other X-Men, it should have been a flashback of Wolverine when they're all dead. Would have sucked
Yeah.
ass. Would have really
And it
hurt,
would be
especially after X-Men 97.
mhm.
But like,
And have it and but they'll have it one thing I did find a little weird with Wolverine's character in this is they wanted to make a point to say that he is a different Wolverine from the universe we knew, but for flashbacks they just used the same footage from the films that we knew. So I feel like which is weird. I feel like it would have been better if they created new things that were slightly different.
yeah, but then that would have added a lot more money. I think this
Yeah,
way,
and then
and
like
these movies hemorrhage money. Let's be real.
if you have a scene of the other X-Men being dead, I think you would absolutely have to have them all in their comic book accurate suits to
That's what I was hoping
suit.
for.
Yeah,
Give my
I'm
man
sorry about
Cyclops
that.
give James Marsden a comic accurate
I
Cyclops
remember
costume, please.
there was a fake leak of James Marsden in Cyclops for the film, and like um
Dude,
he
I would have
had like
clapped
a
so hard.
he had a comic accurate suit on in the picture, and like so many people were like, "Oh, this is definitely real." Real. I was like, I'm not sure. And then just a couple hours later, it was confirmed that it was fake. It's a Photoshop someone made,
Yeah.
which part of me kind of wonders if maybe it wasn't and wasn't because Marvel said that they did plant fake leaks.
Yes.
So I wonder if maybe this was like they actually did have him come down to set in a suit and then just took a picture of it and put it online to make people think he was gonna
I
he
I
was
wouldn't be surprised if they just leaked a photo of, or they just photoshopped a photo of James
yeah.
Marsden from the old sets and just,
Hmm.
because you just gotta what, you gotta up the contrast, add a few belts,
Oh
because especially if you're gonna do Liefeld era. God, I love the Liefeld jokes. I love the Deadpool rips on Liefeld's
yeah.
comic art, like Liefeld's feet.
You know, yeah. Though to be honest, I kind of feel I kind of feel like Fabian Nicaea is more deserving of references in the Deadpool films um because Fabian Nicaea is the person who actually gave Deadpool his iconic like attitude before his comics when Rob Liefeld created the character he was literally just a Deathstroke ripoff off and then
Yes.
but then Fabian Nicaea made the character what it is today and also from everything I've heard Rob Liefeld is kind of a piece of shit but Fabian Nicaea is like the exact opposite. Opposite. He is he is fighting for like people's rights and stuff, and he's and like he was calling out on Twitter how the absolute disgustingness of Elon Musk's leaving in California because of a
Yes.
trans law that came
No,
happened,
it's stupid.
and I think that's
Nice, is a good dude.
and I think for how good of a person Arson Nicaea is and all the good he did for the Deadpool character, I think he deserves references so much more than Rob Liefeld.
To be fair, the Liefeld references are like kind of shit dunking on him a
Well,
bit too.
yeah. But main reason I say that he deserves things in the Deadpool films is because unlike like Nicaea, Rob Liefeld actually has made a cameo in the first Deadpool film. So
Wait,
I
his
think
actual face?
yes, he appeared in a scene at the bar, and I think that Fabian Nicaea deserves the cameo a lot more.
Oh no, for sure. Um, yeah, no, 100% agreed. I know Dan Slott got a refer was you know who Dan Slott is?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he was in the new he got to be see the new Deadpool movie early because he helped some of his writing was used for the film.
yeah. He also got a reference in She-Hulk because a lot of that show was based on his runs of She-Hulk, which he actually put something out on Twitter saying that he believes this is the most that She-Hulk was the most comic accurate thing the Marvel's ever put out, which I think is really cool for a comic writer to say something like that.
Hmm. No, I agree. I like it when I think Marvel works best when they are as comic accurate as possible. Asterisk, there are exceptions, a lot of them, but like generally, yeah, no. I think doing that. See, I want to say like they should have more comic book writers in the movie help write the movies, but they also had fucking Zeb Wells in helping write Deadpool 3, and that kind of
I
skeeved me
mean,
out for a bit.
I mean, um, that didn't hurt the movie at all to me, and like I also liked the episode of She-Hulk that he wrote because he also wrote an episode of She-Hulk.
Was that
Uh, uh,
Wells?
yeah, Zeb Wells
Oh,
he did the Retreat episode of She-Hulk. Blonsky's Retreat. And I enjoyed that episode. Is there something about him in real life that is like really bad or something, or is it just you
no.
don't like his writing?
Do you know what he did to Spider-Man in the current arc that's been going on for over a
No,
year?
I don't.
He broke Peter and MJ were got to get engaged, and this could have been editorial mandating him to do some of this, but he just did the worst way possible. He broke Peter and Mary Jane up because she got stuck in a different dimension where time runs differently. She was saved by a man named Paul. They had two kids when Peter found them. Ends up the kids weren't hers. They were like they found them in this weird dimension that was nearly empty. But like it was all a reference to I think a Beatles song that references Peter, Mary, and Paul. But they're still Paul. They're still Paul. It's been like and and then like it and then the fact that in Deadpool 3 hit Vanessa and Vanessa
Wait.
and Wilson were and Wade were broken up. People have been joking around that what was your contribution, Zeb Wells? I broke Vanessa and Wade up.
Oh man, I
Yeah, I don't know.
that was
I don't think he's a bad writer.
that was a weird thing in Double
It made
Wolverine
sense
that
with the
they.
later context of why they broke up,
Mhm.
but it just
I
still was like leaving a really nasty
I was
like
so what I was
taste.
actually hoping was the reason for them breaking up. I think something that they could have done that would have been really cool and very meta is so in Deadpool 2 you know how Vanessa got fridged and because of like all the complaints about that Ryan Reynolds has learned a lot about why fridging female characters is a very bad thing, and he's made a lot of jokes about it during the press tours for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Makes
I
sense.
was thinking maybe what could have happened of why they broke it up. Obviously, this isn't the case, Ace having watched the film, but what I was thinking was maybe after coming back and saving Vanessa's life, I maybe Wade told Vanessa about what happened, and it will like immediately clicked in her mind that she got fridged, that she was only there to make him better, and she felt maybe like felt
That would have
like
been
that
really
was
funny.
wrong,
That would have been see,
wrong
that
to,
actually would have been funny.
like I think that would be cool. There'd be like I have to. She'd be like, I'm gonna leave and find myself so I can be my own person.
That would have been actually really funny.
And a good way to show that you've learned from your past mistakes.
I mean, the fact that he didn't do it again spoke a lot
Yeah.
about him learning
Oh
his
yeah,
past mistakes.
definitely.
But like, I don't blame him. I don't think again, not a lot of people know about
I,
some tropes.
oh yeah, definitely. I blame I don't blame him. Though I didn't even think about it when I watched Deadpool 2 until seeing the Once Upon a Deadpool cut, because they made a joke about the fridging in that, about how it's wrong to do that, but I didn't know about it back then. And I think the bigger time where I was like, this is wrong for fridging to happen was when Marvel had Maria Hill get fridged in Secret Invasion. That was where
That was
I
like
was
the
like,
one episode of Secret Invasion I
ah.
saw. That ugh.
I was like, that feels wrong. You, especially when the actress was teasing beforehand that this she would get her most emotional arc or something possible, and like she would be getting like the deepest stuff possible for her
That's
character,
such a
and then
fucking troll. I love her. That
I'm
was amazing.
like
That's such a Robin move.
I'm happy for her making those jokes, but I'm not happy that they fridged her in that show.
Oh no, of course not. But at the same time, that's hilarious.
Oh yeah, she's awesome, awesome for her doing that. But like it's just like, why would you do that?
Who knows? Maybe she wanted out,
I don't know.
It
Yeah,
happens.
maybe.
Maybe she wanted out, and then she was
Um,
just like, I'm gonna have some fun with this.
yeah. Well, so is there any last things you'd like to say about Deadpool and Wolverine before or I cut this off and off?
I
Um,
didn't know Like a Prayer could be used so well for a fight scene.
oh yeah,
That showed
that was
me
great.
like the power. I don't know. That it's been in my
Mhm.
head for a week.
Yeah,
The song.
like all the songs in this, I loved. I was like a part of me was like, I hate that I'm in a movie theater watching this because I want to jump up and dance and sing out loud to these songs.
I respect that. I feel that. Not that time. I was too self conscious. There's people
Yeah.
around me, but like
Oh yeah, yeah. I wasn't gonna do it because I'm in a theater. I was like, I wish I wasn't.
what is
So
this?
that I can.
A Taylor Swift screening? No, we're not doing that here.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I want to, but I'm
No,
not
I
gonna
get it.
do
The Earth is
that.
strong.
Yeah,
No, I
I
shouldn't say this, but I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I have certain movies I can't watch for like a good 3 years. Ed had this bad habit of singing a song. If a movie came up, he'd start singing it. It happened with Deadpool 1. I had to elbow him in the ribs, be like, knock it the fuck
God.
off. So yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. I
Yeah.
imagine if every time I'm over the years or over the last year and a half or something that I've known you, every time that I brought up Howard the Duck, I just sung the song at the end of the film, that theme song that they had in the ad for him.
I would inevitably cut it out, but I would have never me and Ruthie would inevitably cut that out of the episode.
Oh
But
yeah,
but at the same time, we also love annoying
I
Ed. So I would definitely
I just like
don't do it every
I'm just
time.
like
But if you
no,
were
I'm
to
just like every time I talk to you about, like I just start being like, Howard the Duck.
No. If you were to do that, I not every time. Don't do that every time. I get annoyed.
I
But
know.
like, if you can sneak it in once, I would applaud you for a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually do that. I'm just saying like, that would be funny if funny and also very annoying if I just every time that I mention
Oh
that
yeah.
film to you,
No,
we're like,
I get
yes.
that. But I'm giving you the pass to do it once.
Oh man, you know, still a year and a half later, later or whatever it was from when he did that episode. I still haven't put in the annoy Ed or insult Ed Ed channel on your Discord. I still haven't put the duck tits in there. Maybe I should do that.
That'd be funny. Yeah, you gotta compare him to Duck Tits
because he
somehow.
like you were telling me during the
You
episode
gotta
that
do something like
I need to do something with that in the channel, and I'm like, I feel
you need
weird about putting that into the channel, but
just be like insult Ed. Be like the duck tits are nice or like nicer to look at than or like I don't know something like that. No, he loves that kind of shit.
Oh man.
But yeah,
It was amazing though how much he was offended by the duck tit as when we were
yeah.
recording
No,
that episode.
he's one of my oldest friends. He's also
I
like yeah. There was I'll tell you after this, but there's one story I have about you recently that got into an episode.
Oh, about me?
No. Just something that funny with Ed.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
I'll tell you
I
after the
thought you
episode.
said I thought okay.
No, not about
Anyway,
you. No.
yeah. Well, I'm going to end off this first part of my Deadpool and Wolverine review. Um, Hopefully I still have things in my head to talk about with other people on Thursday. But
You can just cut and
the
splice everything in the
but
middle.
I will be putting it all out as one episode.
Oh damn,
But yeah, it's just gonna probably be a very long episode.
very long episode.
Well, I'll hope you guys enjoyed this first part. And I'm back with my Deadpool and Wolverine review. Now I am joined by John from the Mad for both Mad Trivia podcast and from the Console Combat podcast. How you doing, John?
Howdy. I'm very, very excited to be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine.
All right, nice. And we also have for the first time on my show, the other host from the Console Combat podcast, Dean. How you doing, Dean?
Hello, I am continuing to exist.
Well, good thing that your universe is not being destroyed for some very plot hole ridden reason.
Doctor Strange isn't here yet.
Yeah, there's been no incursion thus far.
No.
And finally, we also have Bubb from the Anyone's Comic Book Podcast. How you doing, Bubb?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. So what do you guys all think of this film?
Oh,
I
geez.
fucking loved it.
It was
Yeah.
a film.
No, I think it was fucking fantastic. I honestly, I thought it was a perfect love letter to the Fox universe, and even more specifically, a perfect love letter to Logan and the character of Wolverine, specifically played by Hugh Jackman.
I absolutely love the film too. It was fantastic. So I have been thinking about over the past week, since I saw it, is I literally immediately after seeing it, I was like, I don't want to say immediately that this is my favorite film that Marvel's put out, but there is a chance it could become it. As I've sat with it for a week, I don't think it's my favorite, but it is still very good. And I say mainly I don't think it's my favorite because because the more I've thought about it, the more I've been like, that doesn't make sense. These different things don't make sense.
Yeah, it's probably one of those ones where you'd have to reserve putting it as your favorite until you get to actually see it again.
Yeah.
Maybe like on Blu-ray or something when you can see it in your own home and pause things if need be.
Yeah.
Or with closed caption.
Yeah.
I
Oh no, sorry, go ahead.
was just gonna say I went and saw it the second time today, and yeah, it, really loved the movie. It's fantastic. Like you said, no pun intended. But I think that there's plenty of other Marvel movies that I would watch before this one. Like once it's settled in, it's not new and exciting anymore. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that. I definitely would watch it again. I've only seen it the one time so far. I do want to go see it again. I want to see if there's things that I missed. I want to see if there's things that I missed in the void. I want to see if there's I definitely missed cameos in the end of the third act fight there with the resurgence or whatever you want to call them. And I heard about them after the fact. I was like, wow, I completely missed that. And same thing with the cast at the end.
I mean, stuff like blink and you'll miss it. It's Psylocke.
Or Blink and you'll miss it. Was Blink one of them too?
I'm not sure.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other teleporter, Azazel. It's just
Oh yes,
circumstantial.
that's
Yep.
Azazel, which Azazel appeared in the trailer. So I knew going in he was in. I expected him to have lines though.
He did have lines. Poof. It just wasn't him speaking.
Well, then he didn't have a line.
I mean, he made a sound.
Yeah, there's definitely cameos and stuff that I missed. Mostly because I'm not as into the whole like comic book stuff as you guys are. Like, I don't think I've read a single issue of a Marvel or DC comic. I think the last one I read was Fight Club 2 when it was coming out, and that was in what, 2015, 2016?
Yeah, that one's been out for a little while.
Yeah. So I know there's definitely some cameos and stuff I missed. There's definitely some lines that I had missed because of the lack of the captioning. But I definitely would get this on Blu-ray and watch it again. And probably, if anything, I'd kind of do like all three of them back to back to back.
Yeah, that's one hell of a marathon.
Oh, even though I don't, even though, as I said, this is not my favorite Marvel film ever, I do think I can say definitively that this is both my favorite Deadpool film and my favorite Wolverine film.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I can get behind it for Deadpool. I think I'd still probably put Logan on top of this one.
See, it's a hard line for me because the dynamic between Wolverine and Deadpool was just so perfect.
Oh, it was great.
It just complemented the two of them so well that it's hard for me to justify Logan being better.
And this is the kind of Wolverine I wanted with an R rating that not the kind we got with Logan. I what I loved with the character in all of the previous X-Men movies was his all of his insults towards other people and him and just making jokes at other people's expense and that with and that particular personality he had with the R rating, I was really looking forward to in this, and I absolutely got exactly what I wanted with that.
And especially bouncing off Deadpool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think my favorite part of Wolverine in this one was because in the previous X-Men movies he kind of felt like he was just a real angry dude, right? They went out of their way with like him crawling on the ground to go fight someone. That rage, it was animalistic in nature, which is so authentic to the character.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they showed him more as just the angry drunk in the X-Men movies than, you know, the character. And this one, yeah, he was drinking, but he wasn't constantly shit-faced.
Right.
Well, he wasn't always drinking in the X-Men movies, but he was always reserved. He never really had that oomph that he seems to have had for the team that he had lost in this movie.
Yeah,
that's true.
Plus, he can't get drunk. Stupid healing factor.
Oh,
I just want to drown my liver.
So, were there any cameos particularly that that you guys really loved?
Chris Evans's guts.
Yeah, his muscle. Yeah.
It took a whole lot of guts to get that scene done, and I'm really proud of him for it. It
pulled it off by the skin of his teeth.
And the rest of his skin.
Yes.
I think it started with his teeth actually, and then it just kind of.
Yeah, that exact sound too.
Yeah. No, I think honestly, I think Blade has to have been my second favorite cameo. A lot of people are going to go with those revenge resurgence people. I'm fucking on board for Cavalrine. Like, give me more.
He was so good.
Fucking give me more. Like,
Yeah, I did like that cameo too. Also, I think the best cameo was Short Wolverine.
Oh God, that's so good.
I saw people on Twitter be like, "Oh, this was confirming that a short Wolverine can't work in live action." No, that's not confirming that. That was just a joke cameo. And he wasn't even the proper height in that cameo. He's like 4 foot in the cameo.
Yeah, I think he in that scene he was legally short enough to be considered a dwarf. I think the bar stool was taller than him when he got off.
Barstool was about the same height. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy that people actually thought that meant was supposed to be the short Wolverine couldn't work in live action. Like what?
Normal size short Wolverine could work fine.
Yeah. I'm still on the Daniel Radcliffe train. I want him as Wolverine.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day, weren't we?
I think we were.
And honestly, I'm glad that he didn't appear in this, so that we aren't having another Multiverse of Madness situation where they put like the perfect fan cast in, and then and are like, nope, you can't have him as the MCU version, so as they did with Reed.
Oh,
yeah.
We can't. Let's not go anywhere near the fucking Fantastic Four conversation right now, because it'll lead us all down a rabbit hole that we do not want to start going down.
I will say that I think Cavalrine. Sorry, I'm going back to that.
No, you're good.
That's fine.
But based off the short amount he was in the film, I buy him more as Wolverine than I ever did as Superman.
Yes,
someone's going to get pissed at me for this, but it's true.
He was a good Superman, but I would love to see him come out as Wolverine.
Henry Cavill is a good Superman if the film was written by someon else. If it wasn't a Zack Snyder film.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish though that Cavill was not the only other actor to get play a version of Wolverine in the film. I think it would have been really funny if they made a joke about the fake fan casting of Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Oh God.
He just comes out.
And I bet he would be willing to do it.
No shit.
Probably.
He would.
I don't think he's filming It's Always Sunny right now, so what else is he doing?
They missed a real opportunity to have him be the one that was the little Wolverine. Like,
oh, right.
And honestly, what you do for that is you film it inside the bar of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
yes. With the rest of the cast just being the normal people.
Speaking of
the gang gets visited by Deadpool.
Speaking of the Always Sunny cast, as Robert McElhenney actually was supposed to make a cameo in this, but they cut his cameo out.
Really?
Oh shit.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Maybe it'll be on the like deleted scenes in the Blu-ray or something.
Oh, 100% it will.
Which it seems like he was going to be one of the TVA soldiers that Deadpool fought while defiling Logan's grave.
Which was wonderful. I don't care what anyone says.
Definitely. That was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I could see why someone would be upset about it if Logan was like their favorite movie or something, but it was awesome. Fantastic music.
But the thing is like, and this is I know where that comment is directed, and I understand the perspective. I do. I understand why he believes that was desecration. It was not desecration of that movie to do something after the end of the movie happened to the body of the person who's already fucking dead. It doesn't change the ending of the movie. It adds a new element to the beginning of a new movie.
The only desecration was of a grave, and I think it
Yes.
was done very well.
Very tastefully.
Yeah. Who else can desecrate a grave with grace like Deadpool?
Grace is a weird word.
Well, I'm sorry. Would you like to describe it any other way?
Who else can enjoy playing with Wolverine's bones?
Not Jean Grey.
Dr. Doom.
I
I mean, in theory, anybody would want to get their hands on his claws, but other than that,
I'm pretty sure some people would want to get a hand on one particular claw.
does it stay adamantium after he dies too?
Oh man. Oh, what did you guys think of the Deadpool corpse?
You're talking about the one with the hat that was floating around, right? That just the skull.
All of the Deadpool corpse, but sure,
So-
I heard those. All of the different Deadpools that appeared.
I loved them. I still love Nice Pool the most.
Oh yeah, he was so much fun.
The proposal.
No,
Is that what you think
you
I
guys-
fucking do?
do you guys think that our main Deadpool knew that him having the pretty face meant that he never had cancer and never got the regeneration factor?
No, I don't think it made him know it. I think it was
Like, part of me feels like he didn't, but part of me is like, everything would happen the same if he did, because he wanted that guy to die.
oh, he would have still made every point to try to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted the dog and the pistols.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
mostly
Actually, I
the
don't know
dog.
which one he wanted more. The
It
pistols.
was
or the
it was the dog. It was
Yeah, but-
it was the dog.
You saw his expression and heard the joy in his voice when he got the pistols.
Yes,
I'm
but
doing
he-
this for you, buddy.
But we all know that he would have enjoyed the most if he could figure out a way to make it so the dog pool could shoot those pistols.
Oh my god, that would have been his dream come true.
So I was sitting with King on the first watching of this movie, and I was like, "Hey, King, that character kind of looks like you." As soon as Dogpool walked on the camera,
Oh my god.
he goes,
His tongue's just hanging out. Fuck, man.
Oh man. Oh,
I think it's still funny when Nice Pool died, how Deadpool was trying to give him CPR or chest
Oh, yeah.
compressions.
and the blood was still spurting out because of the compressions.
Don't give up on me.
Yeah, I
It
don't
was like
think it's coming
75 holes.
back. Two jokes that I think I really wish that they made in the film. One like making a joke about how they can like finally confirm that the helicarrier that they were on in the first Deadpool film was a Shield one. I think that would have been a funny one, a joke to make. Since they're out at Marvel Studios, and also since this came out in the month that is the 10-year anniversary of the original Deadpool test footage leak. I really wish there was some kind of joke about that in the film, like maybe like him jokingly saying and like he figured out who did it and gave some absolutely ridiculous response on. I know he happily though at least is in a lie detector test as that they did for press as he did say say during that he did have something to do with that leak.
Yeah, And I mean, for
So
all
at least
for all it's worth, it
we
was-
got that. But I just wish there was something in the actual film.
yeah, it was definitely worth what he did.
Yeah, they did show one of the Shield helicarriers
Yeah.
in the void.
Yes.
And they I don't know if you guys watched the Hot Ones that both Ryan Reynolds and Hugh
I
Jackman
did.
I know that they did talk about the test leak, but just briefly while they were dying of very hot wings.
I was watching that too, and I felt horrible watching Hugh die. He was miserable. The poor
He was
guy.
very miserable.
I guess that confirms though that that Australians don't do spice nearly as well as Canadians.
Which is surprising.
Yeah, well, they're so used to the spicy and the fact that they can just stick snow on their tongue and it goes away.
Or maple syrup.
Or maple syrup.
syrup. Beat me by that much.
Oh man.
Keep my country's name out your fucking mouth. So many good quotes.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that. I'm really glad that Marvel is continuing this new trend of making, instead of the at the end, the big climax be just a big CGI battle. They've been and recently with films, and including this one, they more prioritized saving people for the big climax axis. Like we had in this, obviously we had Deadpool and Wolverine on the machine. Then we had in the Marvels the Flurkins and swallowing people up to bring them back to Earth, and then we had just like all these animals being saved by the Guardians. Like, I think that's really cool that we cool, because I like it so much better when they prioritize saving people over just a mindless CGI battle.
Well, especially when the CGI battles look terrible. Like there's many instances of good CG fights. There's a lot of instances of bad ones too, though. And unfortunately, yeah, that's the one that everyone goes to. That end
terrible.
Scene, that end scene it's the one deterrent from an otherwise incredible movie.
No,
that movie is really good. Otherwise,
I will fight you with this. No,
you're on a very, 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 very short list of people that don't like that movie.
I like Shang-Chi, and I'm not gonna lie, CGI never bothers me, but I also will watch the Troll 2 and shit for fun. So
yeah, I don't I've never had a problem with any CGI in Marvel movies. Like every time I hear people being like, "Oh, that's bad CGI," I'm like, I didn't notice that at all. This looks absolutely fine to me. MODOK in Quantumania, I'm like, he looks ridiculous. He should look ridiculous.
Yeah, but compared to real MODOK, that was rough.
And I'll notice it. I just don't care. You know what I mean?
I'm such a nitpicky little bitch.
Well, yes, but also listen. At the end of the day, no Marvel movie whatsoever in the MCU or in current times has ever looked as bad as the Flash's CG. Holy shit!
I thought that was a video game cutscene.
And it's insane. I've actually seen over the past week people trying to say that the things look better in the Flash movie than Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, no, I refuse.
All of the drugs.
You.
I mean, CW Flash did better than the Flash movie.
Fuck yeah, they did. Fuck yeah, that show was great. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a budget of like $12 and a 7-Eleven sandwich or something?
Yeah.
Right.
Even in like the final seasons of the CW Flash, even though a lot of people complain about them a lot, I look at had a character like Despero in season 7, I believe it was. He looked amazing.
I mean, you could tell he was CG, but he definitely looked a lot better than fucking
it's not
any
like
of the shit from Justice League.
and it's not like it ever took me out of it. Well,
No,
any kind of CG look that Despero had, but
no, for sure. The TV CG was way better quality than TV CG was justified, and the movie CG looked like what TV CG should have been.
you know,
Right.
people like to use the CW shows as a way to make fun of things, but I don't think the way that they looked is a sign that you can use to compare, because the way they looked always was great. Like earlier this year, people were like trying to say that the costumes in Madam Web looked like they were out of CW shows. I'm like, no.
You're insulting those
I
CW shows. How dare you?
I'm gonna be honest. I like the Madam Web movie.
Haven't seen it.
Those suits were not good suits. But comparing them to the CW suits is insane, because that's because CW always did amazing with their suits, except for like a few rare cases, like the season 5 Flash suit where he didn't have a chin piece. Like that was the only time where I was like, that this isn't a good suit.
Was that the one with the weird color of the red?
I'm not sure. Um,
There's one suit, maybe it was season 4, where I looked at it and I was like, that color just doesn't look right. You know?
What a
Oh.
maroon.
Yeah, I like the darker red on it, but my bad.
This is what I'm talking about,
Oh yeah.
where he had had no chin strap, so it looks weird.
Yeah, it looks like a cosplay.
A little bit.
Also, another thing that I wish was in the film is like, I think that at Nolan North deserved to be able to play one of those Deadpools in the Deadpool Corps, just because of of him voicing Deadpool so many times in video games and animated stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He deserved it more
Nathan
than McConaughey did.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did get Nathan Fillion.
Mhm.
They had McConaughey.
All right.
Wait,
He wasn't driving a Lincoln though. That was unfortunate.
what did you guys think of Cassandra Nova?
I thought it was fucking weird but cool.
Huh?
I think her bald cap was very obvious. It's all I kept thinking of every time I saw her on screen. It's like, you're wearing a bald cap. It was like Walter White in the El Camino flashbacks.
Yeah.
It's like, your hair is clearly under that.
I remember. So there ended up being only one of these ended up actually coming true. But I like back in February, I actually like made a list of like Deadpool variants. I'm like, I want to see all of these in Deadpool 3, which it's the ones were John Bailey, aka Epic Voice Guy, as a version of Deadpool.
That would have been cool.
Alf as Deadpool, the character from the 80s.
Oh my god, Elfpool.
Nolan North as Deadpool, obviously. A Hulk pool, Baby Groot pool, Panda pool. And we got like Lively's Lady Deadpool, and then Walker Scorbell as Kid Pool. But I will say I'm fine with the fact that Walker Scorbell wasn't the person playing Kid Pool, just because I think it's really cute that Ryan got his own daughter playing Kid Pool, and apparently also it was it was one of their children and who played Baby Pool as well.
Yes.
And then Solo Deadpool, which is a Deadpool whose suit is green. Deadpool the Duck, which is Howard the Duck and Deadpool together. And then finally the musical Deadpool from the two Deadpool musical parodies that are on YouTube. But I'm showing at least some of you since I shared it into that chat we're all that we're in.
Hmm.
But
looked at
I
it.
think I was I was happy about what the Deadpool variants we got, but I did want more.
Yeah, there wasn't enough. There could have been so much more. I could have honestly dealt with a whole movie of just Deadpool and Wolverine killing variant after variant of Deadpool.
I'm still pissed that Lady Deadpool was not Blake Lively's body with Ryan Reynolds' face. That's all I wanted.
I wanted that so bad too.
And like they never even took the mask off. It was like, why did you tease that so hard in the trailer?
Yeah. One thing I think was weird with the Deadpool corpse scene, is Peter coming in and that being what stops them from fighting. Because how did Peter know that was going to work, or did he just want to join in the fight? Like,
He was already Peter Bull.
Oh, why did he put that suit on? What was going on?
I know the answer to this question, John. It's very simple, and I'll tell you.
All you got to do is look down.
Peter has balls, okay? Peter has balls.
Literally.
Where's my Peter Pool movie?
I know. Give me a goddamn Rob Delaney Peter Bull movie.
I was sitting down.
I think we need to get a Peter and
B-15 movie.
B-15 in dating movie.
instead of 50 first dates because they work for the TV, it's Infinity First Dates.
I was sitting next to this like elderly lady when I watched it today, and as soon as Peter came on and like his junk was visible in the outline, this poor sweet old lady was just like laughing hysterically nonstop the entire time he was on the screen. I was dying. It was the only thing that I was like could have been funnier than the actual scene.
That's a cool grandma.
Right.
Like honestly, I did not even notice that that the fellow was like I was not looking down.
You don't have to look down. It took up about a quarter of the screen by the time it showed up.
That's true.
Your peripherals were all covered up.
I think it had its own center of gravity.
It did because everything started fucking focusing on it.
Yep.
What are those? Oh.
Huevos grande.
Something that I have been arguing with people on Twitter. I want to ask you guys' opinion. After the events of Deadpool and Wolverine, is there now two different Deadpools or two different Wolverines running around Deadpool's universe in present day? Because Logan doesn't happen until 5 years later. So it makes sense to me that means that there are now two different Logans running around.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that would be a safe assumption considering, if anything,
unless that universe didn't have a Wolverine. Maybe he was killed.
Well, they said that this is the same universe as Logan, the film Logan is in. So, he's definitely he should be still alive. And I have had many people saying that no, they don't think that's the case. Which it makes a lot of sense for that to be the case to me. But also, if that is the case, and honestly, even if it isn't, didn't they already establish that if someone from another universe comes to someone else's universe for too long, an incursion happens?
So the part about that part is Cassandra Nova's shit that she was doing kind of helped settle the universe from what I understood. So maybe that, I mean, it's all pseudoscience anyway. The other part is that like if you look at like, so for example, if you look at how Marvel's time travel works, you don't go back in time and then change the present and undo everything else that happened.
You create a new timeline.
Exactly. And so having another Wolverine, I could see it creating a different timeline too. So maybe Logan happens in this other timeline, and then,
But this is a splinter.
and you also have two Logans running around in that main timeline, or in the new timeline. But
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense, but still kind of annoys me though, just because like that kind of like negates the whole idea of incursions in general. But then because it makes it so that anytime I'm someone comes to another universe, it just splits off into another timeline. So how is that? I don't know. I've never liked the idea of mixing time travel and multiverses. So
It does get messy.
Yeah.
Also,
it's so much easier for them to just be two separate things.
Did they show a year at any point in the movie in Deadpool's Earth 100015, right?
So
10005.
So beginning of the film, we had it was 2018. 1918, right after he he did that time travel stuff, and then they had it flash across the screen saying 6 years later.
So it is
present,
2024.
Is present day in 2024 in his universe. Gotcha. And I have people trying to argue with me that this film happens after Logan, and I'm like,
but that's 2029.
That's 2029. The TVA only knows he's dead because they're outside of time.
Mm-hmm.
That also just makes the concept of Anchor being so dumb, because that means every universe is already dying if they already consider everyone's Anchor being dead.
And I would be surprised if Anchor beings returns as like a main concept in future movies.
Sounds like, it might, but I'm not sure. Or I hope it doesn't, just because it is such a dumb concept.
It works for a Deadpool movie. It does not work for anything where you're supposed to actually feel something.
Yeah, and then there's also the factor of like, what is actually the chance that universe's Anchor being is a superhero? Like, why? Like, I feel like most universes, it's probably just gonna be a regular person, because there's just so many people in the world.
Yeah, it's probably Paul, who's been working the register at Walmart for the last 20 years.
Well, it would have to be someone who is influential to that universe in a significant way, I think, right?
Did they say
that's why he laughed at Deadpool being the anchor for his universe, was my interpretation of this.
But that makes you have to think about like what actually is considered or like influential for a universe to someone who to sign like the TVA, which is outside of all these universes. Like like someone just doing some heroism doesn't. I don't know if that makes him better than everyone else. So it's just like you have to. There's a lot of like the morals you would have to determine for that.
Yeah, and did they specify that it had to be a hero? Like, what if it was somebody who was insanely influential in a negative aspect,
and
like a major warlord or someone like that who caused like a genocide, like Thanos? What if Thanos in a specific timeline was an anchor being?
And I think it's just about who makes. There's the out of universe look, which I have trouble not conflating with it, but like 100% is whoever makes the universe the most money.
Yeah,
like that's what I was laughing at the entire movie, right? Like the mouse wants his cheddar,
Yep.
So, though, if we're being honest, it's like even though they think that it's Wolverine who makes the most money for that universe, it's really Deadpool, since I'm pretty sure or when after Deadpool and Wolverine, once you combine it, I expect that his 3 films will have made more money than the three Wolverine films.
100%. But I feel that's partially to blame on Fox and their mismanagement of the
Oh yeah.
franchise.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just saying though that I think we're at a point where whether it's because of Fox's mismanagement or not, Deadpool is more popular than Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's
They just
he's definitely more of the moneymaker. Or if and I think this film would have been expected to make $1 billion, whether or Wolverine was in it or not. I don't actually think that Wolverine is making most people go to see it, since if anything, that's being a little bit of a deterrent because of people being like
Remembering
they
how the
want
X-Men movies were.
Logan to be this character's finale.
yeah, I hear you. But they built the entire X-Men universe around
Yeah.
Wolverine, and they made a shitload of money off of that.
That's true.
Even the spin-offs.
Yeah, which kind of makes him more of an anchor, like in my mind.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think what else should we talk about this film? How do you guys feel about Cable's time travel thing being able to just let Deadpool go to other universes? Because I did not think that was what how the sign that could happen from it before this film came out.
Well, if you think about it, by the definition presented by the MCU, time travel is multiversal travel. That's just the gist of it. Time traveling is just traveling to a different universe, and that's how they explain it.
No,
That's how they explain it.
no, not an Endgame.
Okay, well, technically yes and no. It's a different timeline is technically considered a different universe in Endgame.
Yes, but everything gets reset within that timeline because Captain America goes back and puts the stones back, thus negating that threaded timeline, which also was an issue on itself. That's another thing we could talk about at a future point. But
Yeah,
it gets really messy when you talk about time travel. But basically, the laws that they had set up was if you do something like take the Infinity Stones out, so you're going to use Endgame as an example, you create a new timeline. But if you put the stone back when it was taken, that new timeline gets removed and the sacred timeline stays intact. And because the Endgame takes place on the sacred timeline, then that stays as continuous. So it's within the sacred timeline that the stones are removed and then re-added, and then that fake universe or that alternate one that aroused is no longer there, which technically doesn't make sense. But so you're staying within the same universe.
Yes, but that the Ancient One introduced a bunch of rules so that the time travel would not become multiversal travel. So I think it's kind of works both ways to where it's they're inherently interlinked, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think they kind of have to have it that way based on what they've been doing with the multiversal stuff.
Oh, 100%. And same way in the comics too.
Mhm.
I so much rather the way that the Arrowverse did both the multiverse and time travel, because it was so much less complicated.
Yeah, I liked his version of time travel.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing. Hey, what did you guys think of the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine did not become part of the MCU at the end?
I don't hate it if they keep the concept of multiple universes open to a limited section of their storytelling where they think, they keep things like Deadpool and stuff like that in its own universe where they have this violent stuff that can be broken off from the MCU and still be entertaining, but still kind of be adjacent where they can pop in for things like Secret Wars or an incursion situation that might not necessarily be Secret Wars, but have other ties together with other universes. It can work and still be separate, and I think that's what they're going for.
Uh,
And yeah,
I
and
don't.
if they're in time, the Earth, 10,000 5, whatever
yeah.
it is, then that's running parallel to Earth 616, which is the main timeline. Then, right? 616 is the main timeline.
Yes.
Okay.
Or 19999.
1999.
It's one or the other. It's arguable.
Yeah. So we'll say 616 for argument, also because it's less things to say.
Yes.
They're running parallel, so it's not like it's not impossible for it to happen. If they were to jump back in, be like to 616, be like, oh yeah, hey, we're here to help, whatever. But in their current universe, they're not, and because they don't exist in 616, they can't be. So I think that's kind of what they're getting at.
So on one hand, and I'm like, it's not like I don't hate it, but but on the other hand, like I want Deadpool to be able to cross over with MCU heroes on a regular basis. So so it kind of saddens me that he's not just that's in the MCU now. I want to see a Deadpool film where he's with Spider-Man. I want to see one where he's with She-Hulk. I want to see one on where he's with Hulk. And like I want it to be the versions of those characters that we have been following. So it's I'm like, it saddens me a little that he's not being just in the MCU proper.
I mean, they might have hinted that might
Did we
be
ever
what's
see
on
him
its
give
way.
back the TVA time pad?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
He did
Yeah.
not.
Actually, no, yeah, he didn't give it back. I'm pretty sure that it was taken from him by Paradox, and then Paradox used that to send him and Wolverine into the void.
No, they got sticked.
Yeah, they got sticked and he
If that were
dropped it.
the
No,
if
yeah,
it
that's
Oh,
what
he
was-
did
happened. He dropped it.
Yeah, if it
Oh,
were
you're
simply that they had gotten sticked, and there wasn't anything about that, they could have just teleported
Temp padded
themselves out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He dropped the temp pad there. That's right.
Okay.
Um,
I do think they were hinting at a possible inclusion of Deadpool in mainline MCU with that scene that Paradox was like trying to hide from him in the TVA.
Oh,
of
why is
him
he
being
crying?
being caressed by
Mhm.
Thor. So I think they might have been hinting at that.
I think that was supposed to be hinting at or when he appears in like Secret Wars, or is most likely.
Maybe either that or it was a misdirection by Marvel that they knew that people would look at and go, "Oh my
Like-
god, guys, guess what?"
Yeah. So what I was thinking is like that could be for this for the multiverse saga, sort of like what Avengers Age of Ultron, the on the tease for Avengers Endgame of the of that vision of the Avengers being dead. Like that's what I kind of thought was the case for that for this or the scene of him with Thor.
It's been a while since I've seen Age of Ultron. I don't remember that.
when Wanda fucks with Tony's brain.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I lost my train of thought.
Choo choo.
I do think that if they keep the multiverse to the goofier and lighter side of the MCU and then like actually try to tell some grounded stories at the same time, they fix all of their fucking problems. Like you could have Deadpool, hell, you could have She-Hulk, you could have Howard the Duck. I almost call him Donald the Duck. But you could have all those characters just do a little multiverse thing in a cartoon or a movie or whatever, and then have them still be able to be there for the team ups, and then just like I swear to God, if there's any multiverse stuff in the Captain America movie, that just doesn't belong there. Multiverse of Madness should not have tried to be a dramatic movie with the multiverse because that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Not everyone is that. What was that movie? Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That was a great movie.
That was a great movie, and that is an exception to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought the Doctor Strange one was still good.
To be
It was
honest-
darker because Sam Raimi.
I don't think that Everything Everywhere All at Once would be an exception to what you're saying because that was a super goofy film. That fit exactly into what you were saying.
It did have a lot of like, you know, existential
Yeah.
undertones though.
Yeah, it communicated a lot of heavier ideas. That
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, so did Deadpool. If you think about
Yeah.
it, like the
Yeah.
body horror of why can't I remember her name right now?
Sandra Nova.
Yes, the thing with the fingers in the head was creepy. Like
Oh
and
yeah,
I don't
I
the
know.
hated
bulging
that.
eyes and the bulging nose and
Yep.
all those. Ah.
I felt
that
like
was
you,
gross.
it
you
would've
hear
been-
fingers inside me, and not in a good way.
Mhm.
I would have been if she was doing that to me, I'd have been like, "Can you scratch like the inside of my ear? I've been trying to get that for ages."
Meanwhile, she's gonna flick her bean to the Enya box set.
I
There's
think
an Enya box set. Sorry.
I think if it were happening to me, I'd be like, you take your fingers out right now, or you're gonna have my vomit all over them.
She's like, "Don't worry, I'll tickle that one right off."
Oh my god.
Just because the anything with eyes. Eyes is nausea inducing to me. So like the eyes popping out because of because of her fingers in there was like
Not a fan of body horror, huh?
gross. No, I'm not big on that.
Don't watch Evil Dead.
Don't watch Evil
Yeah.
Dead. Don't watch Martyrs. Don't watch
I've-
any of the Saw films.
I mean, I've seen I haven't seen either the 2013 or the Rise Eyes Evil Dead film, but I've seen the Evil Dead franchise. I like those films. I just even if I like them, there's still like that one on thing. I'm like, I don't love that.
Yeah, it is a little bit cringy at times. Just like this movie could stand to be a little bit cringy at times. Like all the blood.
I feel like that's
All
fine.
the blood.
Also, speaking of cringy stuff in this movie, uh, the line I laughed at the hardest, knowing I was watching this movie to go on a Hulk themed podcast, was Smashterbation. My fucking god, that was funny.
Yeah, he says
Oh,
it while
man.
interviewing for the Avengers in front of Happy.
Right.
God. Wait, that reminds me that scene. I not while watching the film, but afterwards, as someone had posted like these official photos of Kevin Feige from his office. I think that might have been Kevin Feige's real life office that they used for that scene.
Really?
It might have been.
It kind of looked to be a very similar, particularly with they had as we saw in the scene like these different Marvel things like the prototype Captain America shield and the Iron Man helmet which I'm pretty sure I saw in that picture of Kevin Feige those in his office as well.
They might have been props from there, but looking just on Google Images from what I'm seeing, his office has like portraits of like comic book scenes through the window, like a fake window border.
Now, those are from 6 years ago, but I
Are they?
don't know if he's changed offices.
That's fair. Yeah.
Oh.
So maybe.
2022. Who heard? Oh, yeah, it's a different paint scheme, though, even 2 years ago.
Yeah, so they may have taken props that he had in his office, but
I found the picture that I'm talking about that kind of looks similar to what we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. This is him. Look, can you see that well?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I was talking about. I was like, it's kind that looks kind of similar to what we saw in on Deadpool and Wolverine. So I was like, could that be? Probably not. It was fun getting to see Happy though appear in this as and him not just be relegated to only Spider-Man films.
or ruining another Lion King live action, quote unquote.
Or being the butt of every joke in the scene, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he got his share.
Being a chauffeur.
Parallel parking.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing to me about that scene in Happy's office is that was in March of 2018. So literally just a few weeks before Thanos. So if Happy had just let him be on the team, we could have seen him be in Infinity War.
Do we think Deadpool could have survived the snap if he like
I
did the snap to
would
bring people back?
I would argue he might. Oh,
A good question.
it's he does have that very serious healing factor. Um,
If
Well,
Wolverine and
but I feel
Deadpool
like the
hands,
I feel like though I feel like though it's not quite the same as normal pain
right?
and injury. What happens with the Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah, no, that was a complete erasure, so the healing factor wouldn't matter.
No. We're talking about activating the gauntlet to bring everyone back.
Yeah.
Oh, could he have snapped his finger and done it? Oh yeah, in theory, yeah.
But would he come back from it? You know,
I don't think he would even die. I think he would snap his finger and cut off his arm.
oh shit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Before the energy like rippled. Yeah.
Logan, cut off my arm as soon as I snap, okay, buddy? Do it.
Cuts off his neck too.
Speaking of
I missed.
like
You got
limbs
it,
getting
Bubb.
cut off. I kind of wish we got some of that in this film. Like we got it in both the previous Deadpool films. But we didn't get either Deadpool or Wolverine in having like limbs cut off. I think that would have been fun, especially getting to like for once see that with Wolverine. I think would have been cool to see.
Yeah, and that's one thing I did notice too was the amount of time, like especially when they had the fight in the van, the
Mhm.
amount of times Wolverine just impaled him. There was like no damage to his suit. Like, does his suit regenerate now too?
Oh, totally.
Maybe they might just have regenerating suits from the TVA.
To be
Since
fair,
it was a TVA suit that he was wearing.
That is true.
to be fair, you can't really see the holes through the seatbelts.
The seatbelts or the fact
The
that
seatbelts that wrapped his entire fucking body.
well, yeah, but then they got out afterwards and
Yeah.
he was still wearing the same suit.
Well, that's what you call those holes were filled by plot holes,
Oh, okay.
and they became plot armor.
I thought they were just continuity holes. My bad.
I mean, they were flushing something out.
Yeah.
So
Did you guys find it weird that Cassandra Nova could survive being stabbed by Wolverine and then the with both claws and one claw was enough to kill Jean Grey when she had the Phoenix Force?
I feel like Nova was more powerful.
Then Phoenix?
not then Phoenix, but Jean was in control more in that moment.
Oh, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Makes sense. I just crack it down to Fox didn't know what they were doing with the Phoenix Force.
No,
That's also very true.
no, and to be
You could have stopped it. Fox didn't know what they were doing.
yes. I hope if this new generation of mutants gets a Phoenix Force, they skip Dark Phoenix and go to the Phoenix 5. That would be so much more badass.
Isn't that a band?
No,
Honestly, it could start with Echo and then go to the Phoenix 5. I feel like that would be fresh enough that I'd be okay with it.
as long as they redo Echo in a way that fucking works.
Oh, you didn't like Echo?
I didn't dislike it, but they changed so much of her origin, so much of her power set, and so much of her story in general. And they didn't make it really like have a solid through line where the Phoenix Force would even make sense.
Well, yeah,
She is so street level that it hurts.
but she's just as street level in the comics and got Phoenix, I think, 3-4 years ago.
And I know it was recent. I don't think it would translate right now.
Yeah,
I think it
Oh,
would
yeah.
be a little while before they could make that
Oh.
feasible.
I'm just saying whenever they introduce it, that would be an option just to be like, hey, it's not Jean, and then like we could have a couple iterations of Phoenix before as palate cleanser.
I think the Phoenix 5 is a fun one. I know
agree.
that I would love to see that.
You want to see AVX?
Oh, dude, if Avengers versus X-Men isn't the first crossover, we're fucked.
Oh, I thought it was Aliens versus X-Men. Okay.
I mean,
There is Alien vs. Avengers coming out as a comic this year. But
ooh,
Nice.
September, I want to say.
September. Gracias. No, I think Avengers versus X-Men would be wonderful. I don't think it's going to make sense to do it after Doomsday or Secret Wars. The shock on your face.
I missed it.
I would say that you can, just because I don't think they need to just keep making things bigger and bigger. They can. I think as long as they make a different enough story, people will be fine with it. But honestly, as well, I hate that we're immediately going from the last Avengers film being Endgame to the next two being just and being even bigger. I think we should have had, just like with the Infinity Saga, two smaller Avengers films first, and then then do sign big.
So I think in some capacity we are getting that. I just don't think we see it that way yet. Firstly, I think, and this is where I stand heavily on where my belief system is, the asterisk at the end of Thunderbolts is Dark Avengers. To me, that is what it is. That's comic books. I believe that's the translation they went from the Thunderbolts to the Dark Avengers, or vice versa. Bubb, is that right?
I'm not terribly knowledgeable about them. I know a decent amount of Thunderbolts, I believe, became Avengers.
Yes,
or stayed as Thunderbolts.
Yeah, so there was a system like where they crossed over at some point or another. I would like to see the Dark Avengers be the Thunderbolts. It makes sense. Some of the characters perfectly match the roles, so to speak.
Dark Avengers. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say the other one is another one, but go ahead.
I thought because they're very distinctive groups from what I remember. Dark Avengers was Norman Osborn's between Secret Invasion and Siege, right? With Sentry, Logan Sun, Yelena.
I think so.
I'm just saying I think that would be fun, but even if not, we're getting a team up movie there with the Thunderbolts, and it is going to be Avengers-esque because of the amount of people.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but my wanting a smaller Avengers film before we get these big ones also isn't just because I like Avengers film be not all having to be the biggest thing ever, but also because whatever or the new Avengers team is, I want them to have teamed up at least once before we're getting them have to deal with a multiversal threat.
That's fair.
Well, and that's why I think we're getting Doomsday first. Doomsday is going to start non-multiversal. Doom is a Fantastic Four villain who we have next to nothing in terms of a history with in general, but in the MCU there is none. So if they just go from 0 to 100 with Tony Stark playing Doctor Doom, it's going to make so much of a splash in the worst possible way that it'll just be a bad hit. So I think that despite what we were supposed to get with Kang Dynasty, I think we're actually going to see a reformation of the Avengers that were still alive at the end of Endgame with maybe a new face or two. So it won't feel so broken, like it's a completely new team and that we're just kind of expecting them to just be together all of a sudden. I think that we're going to be expecting that, but I think we're going to get the majority of the originals back. Like we've got the Vision Quest TV series coming out. I think that's coming out before Doomsday, so we could get Vision back. We've got Captain America 4 coming, which showcases several heroes. I mean, we've got Captain America, obviously. We've got Ramirez, the new Falcon, Hulk. Red Hulk in the stories isn't always a bad guy, so we might be able to further down the line get Red Hulk as a good guy. I mean, fuck. Leader's another one that doesn't make sense in that movie, so we might get him too at some point to be another grounded villain. I think that there's plenty of opportunity for them not to go universal with the next few movies, and I think that's what we'll see Secret Wars make up for.
And
So
I also think that I don't think that Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is necessarily going to be the
616.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be the main universe Doctor Doom. However, I don't know if he's actually Doctor Doom.
Well, they said
he could-
said specifically at the Comic-Con panel he's playing Victor Von Doom.
I understand that. But my point is, the Beyonders are nigh omnipotent beings. They could just create a motherfucker out of thin air.
Yep.
Pardon my French. So they could just be like, yeah, Doom's a really big problem for people to deal with. What if we put it on their biggest hero's face who saved the entire universe a few years back?
Ooh,
Just
clever.
to fuck with them, you know?
It's a good theory.
That's what I'm holding out for. I could be wrong. But they teased, God damn it, I keep reaching for the same comic that King still has. The comic that they teased in
In Deadpool and
Void.
Wolverine.
Yeah. The one right next to 20th Century Fox's Secret Wars
Mhm.
2015 issue 5. So I, being who I am, decided to read it again. But it's the one that describes how Doom got all the Beyonders' powers through Molecule Man. Which I agree with you. I don't think we're gonna get Beyonder Doom or God Emperor Doom Tony Stark. Like that'd be way too much for everybody. But is a comic that is tying together the Beyonders and Doctor Doom on the week that they announced Robert Downey Jr. being Doctor Doom. So
I will say this: the trailer that came out initially for this movie had that scene in it, and that comic was in the trailer.
yeah,
So
That's
that
fair.
being released, I just think that's circumstantial. I don't think the timing is
Fair.
relative. Especially considering at the release of the trailer, he was nowhere near cast.
Maybe he was cast. It just wasn't. They're just keeping it secret.
That was like 6 months prior. That's a hell of a long time to keep that secret.
But you got to think about how long it takes for contract negotiations and stuff.
True, but the other aspect of it is that was still fresh off the tails of Jonathan Majors being fired, so they hadn't even had a chance to really write out this whole new idea yet.
That is fair. That's a good point.
So I think RDJ came with the Russos specifically, and the Russos were just picked up 2 weeks ago.
If I'm,
Fair.
I remember I think I read something of like either it was either the Russos demanded he would be in it, or he demanded that the Russos directed. I think one of those was what happened.
I think the Russos wanted RDJ because of the fact that he was the person that started it all. And much to Bubb's point, I think it is similar to the aspect of the line that he used on Instagram or wherever else he posted, new mask, same task, to create a universe. So the end of Doomsday is when he gets the ability to create a universe, is my thinking. And that's when he gets the Beyonder power and he becomes responsible for the Secret Wars. That's my thinking is how they're going to address this, but I could be entirely wrong.
Well, you also
You got
are
a
wrong
point.
about Robert Downey Jr.'s character starting off the MCU because it was actually Edward Norton in The Incredible Hulk.
Nope.
So-
Well, that came
Iron
out a
Man came
month
out
after Iron Man 1, so
Yep.
I don't
Did
think
it?
so.
I thought.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was right before.
Nope. Right after.
right after,
Yeah, and everyone forgot about it, rightfully so.
because RDJ was in the post-credit scene for that.
Yes, he was.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. Yep. I'm getting my I didn't see them as they released. I just remember they came out same year.
We'll forgive you this time.
I won't. Not ever.
That's fine. It won't be the worst thing I've done.
Yes, if Dean ever comes on to Bubb's podcast, as every time Bub will mention, you said that an Incredible Hulk came first when it didn't.
And
You
I'll
son
say
of a
I did.
bitch.
I don't remember this because I
He
will
said
not remember.
what?
I think it'd be
Oh,
like, play
man.
the clip and then put it in post.
Oh. Well, I know I'm probably in the minority here, but I still but I still am like I don't like that they didn't cast a Romani actor to play Doom. Like I hate that they didn't.
It's gonna be forever though. Sorry.
It I don't know. I just feel I like it annoys me that this is not the first time that they particularly whitewashed a Romani character. They also did it with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and it's like I think that everyone deserves representation. So and so it annoys me that they just keep particularly not casting Romani actors for or Romani characters.
To be fair, Disney is slow to the whole, casting the right people thing.
This is
Yeah,
true.
I mean they refused to cast a Jewish actor to play Moon Knight.
Yeah. Well, again, Disney.
Mhm.
Do you remember who Walt Disney? He was very
very anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
It's in their contracts. We can't hire these people. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
That might be true, actually.
It wouldn't be surprising. Before we get canceled,
Happily, at least we did get a Jewish actor that's playing the Thing for the first time ever since all the previous live action and actors who played the Thing have not been Jewish, but happily a Ebon on Eprat, however as his last name is pronounced, is Jewish, and the character of the Thing is Jewish in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
my concern with the casting of Romani actors, I can't name any, and that's not to say that there aren't.
I don't think that should matter, though.
No. That's not the point.
Just let me say what I mean, though.
Sure.
I don't think that should matter because it doesn't matter whether we can find Iron Romani actors. They can because if they couldn't find actors for roles that aren't just super famous, we wouldn't have Aloquid Cox and Iman Vellani playing Echo and Miss Marvel, because those are people who literally weren't acting at all before they got those roles.
You're correct, and I agree with you. However, if you're going to have a centerpiece actor, or a centerpiece character, that has to have some power of ability. And my question isn't of notoriety or of fame. My question is more of the capability of the actor themselves to do the job.
Well, that's why there's casting calls and that's why there's auditions.
Mm-hmm.
And my worry is that maybe a handful of Romani actors did try, and they didn't have the chops to perform as well as a Downey Jr. or God, I can't remember his name. Paul Bettany. You know what I mean? Like the really solid, like Benedict Cumberbatch. The names that have.
So the casting director and everything should have gone on a plane, gone to Romania.
Yeah.
And then said, we'll give you a visa to come to the States.
I do want to correct you there. Romani actors are not from Romania. They're from Roma. Those are two different places in the world.
Listen, geography is not my strong suit.
I understand. I actually literally this last week had to realize that as well. But but now that I do realize it, I'm like, I don't want to
this
make
information.
the mistake. Again, I think that I don't think that they probably did have like lots of like auditions to as in with Romani actors. I think they just went for or Robert Downey Jr. because they knew he was a selling feature at Marvel and Marvel. And also they wanted to listen to the people who are like, we should go back to the Infinity Saga, which is an annoying thing to me.
We don't want
I
to
think
rehash. We definitely
yeah.
don't want to rehash.
I think, but also I even outside of the morality of these of having someone who is not Romani play his character, I don't want it to be someone who is as recognizable as Robert Downey Jr. because you're just gonna feel like it's Robert Downey Jr. on screen. It's not Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone, it's just like, okay, this is just Iron Man playing a different character.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I think that's gonna really hurt the character.
There's only one way for me. Yeah. There's only one way that this works, in my opinion, and that is if they leave him behind a mask the entire time, so you never see his face, and he doesn't play the flamboyant, outgoing, upbeat. Like he would have to play someone very reserved but very, very powerful in the way he talks, but also a centerfold upon himself, which is what he's great for. Like, don't get me wrong, as a narcissist, fucking perfect. And in no way is Doom not a narcissist. Doom demands of you, and Doom will receive what he wants because he is Doom. He doesn't ever talk about himself outside of the first person, and that is definitely a Tony Stark trait, an RDJ thing. But I don't think the line delivery will be as robust. I don't think it'll be as powerful as it would be if it was someone with more of that auteur voice. Like if they don't command the presence of Spader in Ultron when he was doing his puppet speech in the Avengers Tower there, in real life they clapped at the end of that because of the amount of power in Spader's voice. That's what Doom needs to be able to do on a massive scale.
Okay, so what you're saying is they should have gotten James Spader to do Doom.
Listen, if he wasn't already notoriously Iron Man, wow, Ultron, I
could see it.
I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he says, I'm the fucking Lizard King, like he did in The Office, it'd be great.
Or if, if they bring Mr. Fantastic in and Doom is fighting him, and for some reason Fantastic is like belittling Doctor Strange, like, why is Jim being rude to the wizard? He said that in The Office too.
Yes. I think honestly though, Mads Mikkelsen's one of the fan casts that I've seen that would have been perfect.
Yeah, I don't know if he has the commanding voice though.
I mean, he pulled off Dumbledore or whatever, not Dumbledore.
To be honest, I think the only person who I think I would be happy with if in the cast that's not a Romani actor is because this would be signed that confirms that he's only going to be signed for just these two films, is if they just brought back the Doom from the 2000s Fantastic Four films.
He was pretty good.
Just bring him back and make it clear that this is just a one-off thing of him coming back, and then then you can have a actual new Doom casting after Secret Wars, but also that helps to make it so that you don't have to explain who this character is, because the audience already knows this version of the character from those previous films.
Well, if they're old enough and have watched them, because you got to remember this, because when is this one coming out? 2025, 26. So that was 26 years. Or when did the first Fantastic Four come out?
Argue that I think that
04.
Audiences are able to handle an older actor coming back to play the villain again, since it worked with Spider-Man and No Way Home.
Yes, it did.
I think that would work. and even if people haven't seen it, they can just go back and watch it before they go see these new films.
But they don't really
And I
have
think
to.
that's yeah.
Especially if it's unrelated.
Well,
Yeah, it'll be fan service for people who are aware,
Yeah.
and then for anyone new to this, if they've only been seeing the MCU stuff, from the actual canonical MCU stuff, then I feel like it.
And I think that
shouldn't be
sign like,
interruptive.
and I think something like that would be a really great way to embrace the multiversal saga, bringing back an old version of Doom. And I think it would not annoy people nearly as much as sign like having Robert Downey Jr. play the role.
Yeah. I think the only argument I have against the Doom from the early movies is the fact that he didn't really give that Doom persona. Like he wasn't
That could
that.
have been the directing.
It could have
No.
been, and if they go with a
Mhm.
different direction of it, where he's more of that narcissist, where he more talks about himself
Oh.
as a king, like that's
No.
what this needs to
I think
properly
that-
represent.
I think that at Julian Mahan which is the actor who played him in 2000. I think he does have the acting chops to be able to do that well. Particularly, actually, mainly because of how much of a scary force he was as in a Marvel show that came out just like 5 years ago of Runaways. He was because he is the villain Jonah in that or the Magistrate. I'm pretty sure is his comic name, and he did amazing in that.
I mean, he's a good actor. I'll certainly give
So
him
I
that.
think
He's got a
I think
history.
I think as long as they give him the direction to be like, you do this terrifyingly, and with that gravitas, then he will do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it seems like the director of the original Fantastic Four films, Tim Story, besides Fantastic Four, he's really kind of only stuck along with Kevin Hart stuff, legitimately. Yeah, so that kind of tells you the quality of directing we're talking about here.
Yeah. My fan cast for Doctor Doom was actually cast as another character already now.
Oh, really?
Giancarlo, what the hell is? Yeah,
Esposito, yes.
dude,
Look at me,
he has
Hector.
he has the voice. Like
Yes.
I almost don't give a fuck about anything else. Like John said, it is the voice.
The problem
I
is
could
he gets
totally see-
typecast as those types of characters all the time, though.
I'm okay with it. I love Doom.
Fair.
You know.
And but you know what? It's funny. He's still playing a king,
Mhm.
so we'll take it. I don't know if I have a good fan cast for Doctor Doom. Like to me, it would definitely have to be someone European. It could not be an American actor for me. It would have to be someone European at the very bare minimum, because the accent has to be there. That is part of his character. It doesn't necessarily, like, to me, it doesn't necessarily have to be Romani. I can deal with it being like, I could even tolerate being some kind of Latino or something like that, but it has to be commanding. Couldn't be German. Couldn't be German. Has to be commanding. Austrian, I could go with Austrian.
Saying German isn't commanding.
No, I'm saying German as a dictator would probably be poorly translated on screen.
That's okay. That's fair. But well, actually, no. That would be fine because Adolfo was actually Austrian. So
Yeah, but you know, Germany, bad representation.
semantics.
Yeah.
So,
Anyways, I think I definitely have to be a European character or actor. That's definitely hands down for me.
there is one actor that I've seen a lot of people will say who is Romani that they think could do it well, and that's an actor named Charlie Clapham. Which I don't know if I've ever seen any of his films, but but he looks like he could do something like that.
He's too young to be opposite Pedro, though.
I don't know. I don't
I
think
feel
that
like I've
it is
seen him in
going to
stuff.
be.
He was
I
in
don't-
Kick-Ass 2. He was in Rebel Moon
No.
Part 2.
Kick-Ass too, I would have seen.
Yeah, he doesn't really have that long of a list.
Yeah, it's very
He
short.
just looks familiar.
Mhm.
Oh,
Which
he was in Community. That's why.
But he definitely gives off a look that you could do it, and also with it being the multiverse, I don't expect it's going to be just the as I don't think it's going to be a Reed someone who has a relationship to Reed, especially since the Fantastic Four film isn't gonna be in the MCU.
Mhm.
Now, my only argument for that is the theory that I've heard is that they're going to get brought into the mainline MCU, and that the First Steps moniker subtitle is a representation of them being pregnant with either Franklin or Valeria. So, especially if Valeria is born in this movie, Doom has to be around the age of Reed, specifically for that because Valeria Doom is Valeria's godfather, uh, which is fucking bananas. But canonically speaking, that's why their relationship is so tenuous towards the end because of the fact that he basically ensured Valeria's survival.
Helped deliver her and helped raise her at some points.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
crazy, but that's they have to be of a similar age for that to be plausible
I agree.
because they went to school together. They went to they got their powers together in the comics. It's just too much deviation will cause a stir amongst the hardcore fans. It won't affect someone like me or like Dean who hasn't read the comics as much, but knowing
Or at
what
all.
I do know, I think it would cause a bit of a stir.
Yeah.
So I think it would be more sensible for them to keep with
I would
accurate aging.
I think anyone who actually does really care about the character of Doom, they're gonna care more about his Romani heritage than aging, to be honest.
I don't know if as a fan of Doom, because honestly, he's my favorite Marvel comic villain. And I am a comic nerd. Um, I think I probably care about him. So the broad strokes of his story being correct than necessarily who the actor is. As sensitive as that sounds, like I'd rather have um, eh, someone who did go to school with Reed and has that like decades long kind of like
Relationship.
virulent rage. Yeah. And the tiny little scar on his head that he thinks makes him awful because he is a narcissist, just like John said earlier. Um, all that stuff is more important to me. I don't care what he looks like. He just has to have the voice, and I want to have the same vibe, even if all the details aren't the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm not opposed to any kind of nationality swapping, race swapping, in a lot of cases gender swapping. I have no oppositions to those things so long as the story is good and the character's done justice. Like there was this big thing for a while where there was a story or a rumor where Magneto and Charles Xavier were going to be cast as African American men in the MCU. And there was an argument about it. I was like, what's your fucking argument? That would be more accurate than the original story and them being white because the original story was just a
Well,
literal
it's fine for Professor X to be black.
same thing.
It's not fine for Magneto because he is a Jewish character. He should be played by a Jewish actor.
But
To be fair,
Jewish is an ethnicity, is not just a religion.
oh, no. I agree with that. I agree with that. The reason I say I wouldn't have a problem with it isn't because I think they would stick with the story that's comics accurate. I think that the story that they would go with would be more what Stan Lee's intended parallel was, which is the civil rights movement. If you
yeah.
actively change the story from um, Charles Xavier and Eric Lencher to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, you get the exact same story. It's just
Problem
a
is,
little bit...
it would be way too on the nose.
Oh no, I get that, but the variance in the story itself could be changed in a way that wouldn't be so extremely taken, but they could, you know what I mean? Like they could meet somewhere in the middle where it still properly reflects what their original message was, but it doesn't
No,
have to.
I think I I don't have a problem with, having black actors play those characters either. My issue is because if you make it too literal to the sense where you have African American actors playing characters that were allegories for, and the X-Men was an allegory for civil rights and the oppression of African Americans, you're putting it way too on the nose, and
That's
you're going to
fair.
raise way too many eyebrows.
That's,
And it kind of ruins the whole allegory
I
itself.
can see that point too. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. I can see that perspective. I don't. I just don't. I don't. Overall, I don't really have any issue with religions, nationalities, anything like that. I personally just want the performer to be the
Up to the
best
task.
person for the task. Yeah, and
Ooh.
if that means I'm ignorant to other actors and not knowing, that's entirely possible. That's not me saying that I don't think that my opinion matters either, because when it boils down to it, I am a person who doesn't know a vast majority of the scale of people who try to get these roles. And
Donald Glover for Spider-Man, god damn it.
yeah, like stuff like that. There are just certain circumstances where I don't know. Maybe there was a better actor and maybe they got pushed out because of a big name. And in those cases, it's wrong. I just want a good story to be told with a good representation of the character that I know or I might have heard about, or as far as I might have read is accurate. That's all. I think the story being told by people who can write it well, performed by a person who can perform it well, is what I look for most in entertainment, not necessarily the realism behind it.
Oh,
Fair.
and I understand that, but I will I will argue in defense of every character getting representation, and like I'll say will say I don't care if white characters get race swapped because because white characters have been on screen forever.
Oh no, you're right. I agree.
But every other thing, my defense for why I think is absolutely important, and also why I think that there's a lot of people who are white who don't see that see it as this thing that is important. They just like you are like this is you see the story and or is more important, the performance is more important. It's you see that because you've never experienced not being seen on screen, so you don't see it as big of a deal. And that's not your fault. That is the fault of all of these movies. But but that is a privilege that you should be able to recognize and be like, yeah, that's it's not. We should be pushing for everyone to get representation, Asian, and so that everyone can feel like they're seen, like I have been.
I don't
Yeah,
disagree with
100%
you.
agree.
I don't disagree with you. The only argument that I can have, and it has nothing to do with what you're making as a point, is there are certain circumstances where a character is portrayed in one light, and this is in comics or in general media where it doesn't necessarily hit the mainstream live action media or even animated media, but like where the representation of the character will change, whether it be the person behind the character has a legacy or the story changes via like something like the New 52 with DC. There are often times where you'll see something change in the story that makes the change to the character that can change them on a level of where they came from or who they were as a person or where it's versus where they are now. I have no problem with changing, and I do agree white has so long been in the mainstream. I don't think people should be getting white reversed rolled. I don't.
Whitewashed.
Yeah. That I agree with. 100%.
No,
100%.
no, absolutely not.
When I say race swapping and gender swapping, I do mean going from a white Charles Xavier to a black Charles Xavier or to an Asian Charles Xavier or stuff like that. Properly representation, of course, is accurate, is important. I don't disagree with you. And does that mean I'm ignorant? I don't think it's that I'm ignorant. I think it's more that I'm ignorant to the fact that there could be better actors out there and I'm just not knowing their name yet. I don't travel outside of the realms of what I see. Yeah. And that's not me saying
like I'm not like when I say that that you have that inherent privilege of not like thinking of it as your deal. I'm not saying you're a bad person for that. I'm just saying that is sign that as people who are white, we do need to understand that and push for the push.
I'm 100%.
But I just want to make sure you know I'm not trying to say you're a bad person for.
Oh no, I don't take it that. I'm saying
it
that way.
I'm saying you're a bad person.
Me too. Just for different reasons.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally different. No, I don't. I think that the right actor for the job should represent the character. That's what I mean when I say that. I don't think. Like
unless that character is specifically from a particular lineage or heritage, then you need to make sure you stay at least within the realm.
Yeah,
and my thing about it is like sometimes the swaps can be okay. Like, Iron Man 1 is an example in my mind. Because the 10 rings, so it wasn't the 10 rings in the comics, but the people who were responsible for Iron Man's captivity and stuff like that were in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken. And so to modernize the story, they changed it from Vietnam to the War on Terror. And so
yeah, because it was just the current active conflict at the time of writing.
Yeah.
And so it's authentic to the story, but also not necessarily the same representation. And I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it brings it, because it would be kind of disingenuous to really reality and the story if you kept it in Vietnam, but it was in modern time, because it's like, okay, why? Then you have to make up a whole conflict.
Yeah. And
the
only final thing that I will say about this is I do think that there are a lot of people who sadly only care about representation for races and ethnicities that are popular to talk about. And what I mean by that is Black, Asian, Mexican, and etc. Like those are popular to talk about. Those are more noticeable changes in people's skin. And I think we should
the Armenian genocide and stuff like that.
But we should care about everyone's representation, even though not every race and age and ethnicity are talked about a lot. But that and that's sadly a thing that there's a lot of people who only see those particularly massively popular races to talk about as the ones that they care about representation for.
And
also movie studios have those specific races on a checklist, and they go, okay, we have one of those, we have one of those, we have okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Right.
Where's my Aborigine superhero? Come on.
I'm like, what is that?
I'm only somewhat joking.
Could use the word Aborigine. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's my final point that I want to make about this, because I do think that is a big thing that we need to mention. Is like there are sadly a lot of people who they only care when it is the people that people that are talked about a lot, and they only care about that because those characters are talked about, or because those ethnicities and races are talked about a lot.
Yeah,
they're doing it for the sake of being seen.
You know, I know this is a controversial topic, but
little spicy.
but a lot of people who listen to my podcast, a lot of people who see me on Twitter, they know I'm a very pro-Palestine person. And I noticed the fact that people don't see Palestinians as humans. And and I think that a big part of that is because they prior to October, they weren't being talked about a lot. And so things like that, like you need like we need to care about everyone regardless of whether they are popular to talk about out and we also like with sign with Palestine, we can't act like this just started in October. What's happening there? It has been going on for the past 75 years.
Yeah, it's been like century tensions in that whole region. And I
It's
think part of the reason why, and of course, we're saying this from an American viewpoint because, that's type of media and everything that we see. But I feel like for the general American populace, the reason why they either are indecisive or, they don't have a opinion, or they have a specific derivative opinion is because, especially post 9/11, everything, especially a lot of the ones that are less informed, kind of generalize that whole region and all the people there. And so they're just like, oh, it's just more fighting in the Middle East. That's a lot of what it boils down to.
Yeah, and I I think we need to push though for us to all talk about how people, even if they aren't like the most popular thing to talk about, but because of the fact that they aren't talked about, a lot of people don't see them as something we should care about.
Yeah.
Me personally, I have tried to practice this belief, and I am guilty of getting mad at people, but I try to practice the belief of being kind to everybody will get kindness to spread. If you're kind to the next person, they'll be kind to the next person, and then it should pay itself forward.
Hell,
But
even if half of them are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the problem is the next guy or the next guy or the next guy, one of them is going to be a piece of shit.
Yep.
And it's just an inherent piece of shit nature that some people have. And it really fucking ruins good people. Like the good train of people, the one person in the drive-thru at Dunkin' Donuts who breaks the chain of people paying for the person behind them, that piece of shit is the person who causes problems.
Leave it to the
I don't know,
masshole to bring up dunks.
It's a point.
Also, remember when we were talking about Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah. Yeah, right. We did fall off one hell of a tangent.
Is there any final things any of you would like to say about Deadpool and Wolverine?
Fucking fantastic movie, worth seeing in theaters more than once.
If you have time.
Yeah, if you have time.
Movie tickets are expensive now.
Yeah. But worth it is the point. Truly a absolutely very well done Deadpool movie at the hands of Disney. Very well done R-rated movie at the hands of Disney. If this is indicative of what they're capable of doing, the MCU shouldn't be afraid. And that's where I stand.
Yeah, they should be willing to take risk, just like they were in Phase 4, and then people got pissy about it.
Some of those risks were less enjoyable than others, but still worth taking. 100%.
Yeah.
Phase 4 was Eternals, right?
Yeah.
And Love and Thunder.
I liked Eternals, did not like Love and Thunder.
I hated Eternals. It was the most boring movie I have ever seen that was based around superheroes.
It references one of my favorite comics of all time. That's 100% why I like it. And
that's fair.
It's one of those comics that I literally thought of it while we were watching, but not we, while I was watching Deadpool and Wolverine, because it recontextualizes everything you think you know about superheroes. Like one of the quotes in the book is, "There's no valor in necessity." And so when they're like, oh, they're being heroes, they're doing what they need to do. Like that's the first thing that pops into my head. And it's like, stop. I want to enjoy this, But all in all, I really love this movie. I'm gonna Smashterbate about it later. Like it's great time.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good film.
And
It's better than a lot of the Marvel stuff. It's probably the reason why it's doing so well is because people have gotten worn out about, what's going on with Marvel and, with X-Men. And now you've done something that works. It's well written, it's entertaining, it's fun. And yeah, I think it deserves the praise it's getting.
Hell yeah.
And Bob, later when you're smash debating, make sure it's to the image of Hulk in Wolverine's claw.
That will be one of the things.
I like that's one thing where I was like, I feel like Bob will really like that reference because you are a very avid reader of the comics because his face in the claws was a big thing for that cover or art.
Actually,
Up. You're going to get it again.
You actually have it?
my bad. No, I don't have that one, but I do have. That's literally the first one in my pull list. This is the first time Deadpool and Wolverine ever met. Fun
Nice.
fact.
Huh.
Oh,
I got
that might be worth some money soon.
Oh no, this is a facsimile reprint.
Yeah.
So it came out last week.
Okay.
Your local comic shop should have them. Looks like it's. I don't even see the number on it. Oh well, but yeah.
Well, everyone, please check out both Console Combat and Anyone's Comic Book Podcast. As I know you guys won't regret it. They're awesome comic book podcasts and video game podcasts. And they star these people that you're listening to me talk to now. So and also make sure to listen to the follower of my previous guest, who is you heard right before this, which was Hector from the Reshoot movie podcast. That's everything I want to say for this. So thank you for listening. If you like this game analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or a 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episodes. Please let me know. If you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more game analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Smash Trivia John, signing off.